This is the Buzz Adams Morning Show podcast. Barstool Talk Daily. Except it's really early in the morning and no booze. For the most part.
Buzz Adams Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 5 to 10. KLAQ and KLAQ HD1, El Paso, a Town Square media station.
Must be Monday. I'm moving kind of slow. I'm feeling down. Must be Monday now, baby. Turn on my radio. I need some sound. I need the greatest morning show in town. Ooh, to help me get another rotten Monday off the ground.
What's today?
Monday?
Recovery Monday.
Monday?
Already? Where'd the time go?
What do you mean Monday?
I hate Mondays.
Where'd the time go?
Mondays are the worst.
Oh, I hate Mondays.
So begins another wonderful work week.
Wake up, El Paso. Buzz Adams is back.
Okay. Are you done?
Let's get back to work. Showtime.
Only on 95.5 KLAQ.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you and welcome to the show for this Monday morning. The Buzz Adams Morning Show is on the air. Joanna's all set to go. I'm ready. Nico swore he was coming in.
I don't know. That dude was telling me he was still sick yesterday.
What time did you talk to him?
Well, he sent me a text like at 9 in the morning.
Oh, well, I talked to him in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
We talked about, hey, man, you got to come in today. Welcome to the show, everybody. I mean, the topic that everybody's talking about was the near assassination of Donald Trump over the weekend, Saturday night at a speaking engagement in Pennsylvania. Somebody on a roof, and they don't know how he got on the roof. They're certainly investigating it. Took some shots and killed at least one person in the crowd. Trump was bloodied as a bullet either struck his ear or I've heard conflicting reports that it might have been some shattered glass from equipment or a teleprompter or something. But anyway, he was definitely, the Secret Service dogpiled him. When he came up, his ear was bleeding and he fist pumped to the crowd. So we've got about 1 million phone calls about that.
We certainly do.
Many of them of an insane conspiratorial nature. I don't know that it would be the right thing to. There are definitely some of these that I'm absolutely not going to play.
Oh, for sure.
Like some are just not appropriate. And the Republican National Convention gets started today in Milwaukee. So, First day of the Republican National Convention is
with
only
a whole upgrade on security.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you would figure security would be pretty tight, but I'll tell you, I think there's some questions to be answered. How is somebody able to get on a roof of a place and have a line of sight to a former president? So I think it's very appropriate to be asking those questions today. How did this person get up there? And I was going to say unnoticed, but there were people in the crowd who said that they told the police there's a guy with a rifle and he's up on the roof.
I think there were some reports of people saying, I just passed him up there on his way up there.
Yeah. So President Joe Biden has ordered an independent investigation. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House and Congress, says Congress is going to do its own investigation. I'm sure there's going to be internal investigations of the Secret Service, probably local and state police in Pennsylvania. I am sure that at this point, they have gone through the shooter who's deceased. He was shot in the head by a sniper. They've gone through his contacts recently, his social media posts, trying to find out if this guy was acting alone or if there was anybody else. A lot of facts coming out. For instance, he bought the ammunition that he used in the shooting that afternoon. So, just trying to put some context into how long had he been planning this. Well, he bought the ammo for the gun that afternoon, then went to the rally later that afternoon or evening. So, really, really important story to talk about. I know there are going to be a lot of accusations thrown back and forth. None of those are serious until they've been, they're serious, but until they're thoroughly investigated and it's just too early. At least they're not telling us, the public, at this point, more than what they have already, which is that it was a 20-year-old kid from nearby, about an hour away from where the rally was taking place. It was his father's gun. And
20 years old.
Yeah, they're 20-year-old kid. So they're looking into that. Here he is. Nico, you don't get your theme song today. Hey.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, dear.
How's the old
How do you feel?
bronchitis?
I feel still pretty bad. This has been a weird illness because normally it lasts a week for stuff and I pop back pretty easily. And then I got tested for COVID, I got tested for strep, and I got tested for the flu. And everything came back negative, but I still have a really bad cough and my throat is killing me.
All right, direct your coughs that way.
I thought you don't mind coughs. You had you still stayed here with COVID when who was in studio? We had that lawyer, our good friend Chris Antcliffe, and somebody else.
I didn't know that I had COVID.
No, but you were.
I was not aware that I had COVID. And
So you don't mind a few coughs, right?
Well,
Direct your way.
No, you're doing it. Stop.
He's going to do it too.
We were just talking about the assassination attempt on former President Trump, and just want to get your thoughts real quick on that.
It's an absolute tragedy. I mean, it's been a crazy weekend of news and reports, and it's been impossible to avoid. I don't think there's anybody who doesn't know about this by now. But
there are conspiracy theories that are pretty wacky, flying from both
sides.
Both sides, really.
Yeah.
So
I will tell you,
we've got a number of calls here, just flat out pitting this on Joe Biden. Like Joe Biden ordered this 20-year-old nobody to go and try and assassinate the president. That's insane. You've got other people on the left saying this was staged so that Trump could look like a hero.
Mm-hmm.
That is even more insane. So there's a lot of bad information out there. There's a lot of people trying to get you information that we just don't have yet. And I think we proceed with caution here. And Joanna mentioned earlier, security is really going to be ramped up at the Republicans' convention, which starts in Milwaukee today.
Yeah, it's been an insane news cycle this weekend. But weirdly enough, I think that this has been such a emotionally charged political atmosphere. I kind of in the back of my head felt like some type of violence was inevitable on either side at any point. It kind of felt like that.
So I don't think there's been an assassination attempt, or at least not one that actually put a president in danger or a president candidate since Reagan was shot. I will tell you this. I think this all but clinches it for Trump, because I'm old enough to remember when Reagan was shot. You know, it was pretty early into his presidency, and a lot of people were still up in the air about Reagan. I mean, he definitely.
I don't think he was as polarizing.
He was not. No, nowhere near as polarizing. But after he was shot, and it was reported that he was joking with the doctors in the ER, his approval rating shot up something like 85%. And that's Democrats and Republicans. So I just remember Reagan and the time that somebody tried to assassinate him, and it really. You know, and already I feel like Biden's campaign was on the ropes because of the debate and other things. I just feel, got it pretty close to 100% that Trump's probably going to win the presidency.
All things equal, everything that was true before this weekend of presidential candidate Donald Trump is still true of him.
Oh, yeah. I've heard people say
this weekend,
hey, dial back the rhetoric. I'm not going to dial back the rhetoric that I think is true. I think Donald Trump is a unique threat to democracy. Now, maybe this near-death experience will change him for the better in some way. That's one thing you could hope for. And I'm really, really waiting to see what Donald Trump has to say. I mean, if he goes all in calling for revenge and retribution and that kind of talk, we will know that this near-death experience has not changed him for the better. If he comes out with measured tones and, you know, thanks President Biden for his well wishes and acts in a way that any politician would, that'll be one thing. But if he uses this as a war call, then, you know, I worry about the next few months.
Yeah, it's a very emotionally charged atmosphere right now, at least.
Well, here's something that I don't think anybody will get too emotional about. The weather, brought to you by Painted Dunes Desert Golf Course.
The weather!
Yeah.
No!
It was real nice. It was like around 100 over the weekend, but there was hardly any wind. We went out and played golf at Painted Dunes yesterday. It was a real nice day out. And this golfer's forecast is brought to you by Painted Dunes Desert Golf Course. Set up all your tee times and reservations online at painteddunes.com. Triple digits are the order of the week, at least for the first half of the week. 100 for the high temperature today. We are also going to see in the afternoon and evening a 15 or 20% chance of rain in El Paso. Tomorrow doesn't look like we have rain in the forecast for Tuesday, but it is going to be triple digits. Again, 102 and sunny on Tuesday, 101 on Wednesday, and right at or just below 100 for the remainder of the week. A lot of 98s and 99s in there as we get past Wednesday into Thursday and eventually the weekend. This golfer's forecast brought to you by Painted Dunes Desert Golf Course. You could set up all your tee times and reservations online at painteddunes.com. That's painteddunes.com. Or call their pro shop. The number's 915-821-2122. That's 821-2122 for Painted Dunes Desert Golf Course. Let's get a preview of the show. We're going to have 3 random facts on the way for you. We're going to have tickets for the Watermelon Party, which is this Saturday. So don't let that date creep up on you. It's this Saturday at Westwood Playland that we're having the Watermelon Party. And Nico's going to have the news. Nico, you want to preview what's coming up in the news today?
There was an assassination attempt.
So that's going to just pretty much dominate everything in the news today?
Yes, that's going to dominate. Although something really interesting, something else we're going to be talking about in the news. Governor Greg Abbott has held a press conference charging CenterPoint Energy of cutting costs and endangering millions of
company
Houstonians.
That because the people in Harris County haven't had electricity, some of them, I think, weren't supposed to get it back until today.
Right. So he's actually putting together a commission or an investigation into CenterPoint. It was interesting to see such a hardline attack on energy companies, but I would like to remind you, we've probably seen headlines for the past few years about Texas energy companies being deficient in some way or another. So I think it's politically pressure.
Well, we had that grid of the winter.
ERCOT.
Yeah. The ERCOT.
Well, no,
this is a
ERCOT,
different company.
ERCOT over several times. They've been in the news, and so yeah, we'll hear Greg Abbott talking about that.
Judge kind of surprisingly just dismissed the charges against Alec Baldwin on Friday.
Oh yeah,
a pretty big story. Probably Joanna's going to have that coming up in the Hollywood Cheese.
Super interesting.
Joanna, what is coming up in today's Hollywood news? The Hollywood Cheesemate.
Oh, sad news. Throughout the entire weekend, death came in threes in Hollywood when we all heard about the passing of Richard Simmons. Somebody needs to check on Pauly Shore, Shannon Doherty, and Dr. Ruth Dr. Ruth. The
Shannon
sex expert.
Doherty was only 53, but Dr. Ruth was
53. Yeah.
like, God, Dr. Ruth.
96. She was 96.
When she was 96?
Yes.
Do you think she was still banging up until then?
She was definitely giving advice about banging.
Now, let me tell you.
We used to listen to her on the radio late at night. One of the rock stations in Oklahoma played the Dr. Ruth show on Sunday nights,
really?
and we used to listen in. And she seemed like a much older woman. And this
Back
was
then.
freaking 35 years ago. All right, we have a lot coming up on the show today. Everybody get ready. We'll have Today in Sound Clips coming up here in just a few moments, and your phone calls on the way. I'll give out those numbers when we come back in just a second and get things underway.
The Daily Calendar. Today is July 15th. 8 billion hugs. Better get started. It's Global Hug Your Kids Day. Or you could just not hug them and be a dork because it's National Dork Day. It's Give Something Away Day to make the world a better place by giving something to strangers, not herpes. It's Respect Canada Day and Orange Chicken Day. Respect that also. And guys, it's Get Out of the Doghouse Day. Just seems like a guy thing. I don't know.
And that's your daily calendar.
Hey, it's Double G. Coming up after the Buzz Adams Morning Show,
it's Warren's with TrialLawyers.com. Decades of experience available to you. Wyatt Underwood, TrialLawyers.com.
Local and loco.
Don't you know I'm loco?
The Buzz Adams Morning Show. 95.5 KLAQ.
All right, this is the week leading up to the KLAQ Watermelon Party. July is Watermelon Month, and we're having our first ever Watermelon Party. It's going to be at Western Playland, and admission is going to be the regular Western Playland admission. We have a lot of tickets to give away, too, so we got a lot of freebies for you. This Saturday from 4 to 10, besides riding roller coasters and splashdown, coming to eat watermelon, drink watermelon drinks, play watermelon-themed games for prizes. There's going to be food trucks, vendor booths, also concert, live music from the Zodiacs and Jane Like Fire. Plus, at the end of the night, a huge fireworks display courtesy of Tea2Go Tea and Energy. The KLAQ Watermelon Party this Saturday is brought to you by El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank, New Start Homes, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, Charlie Clark Nissan and Infinity of El Paso, beer and wine provided by Coralitos, and watermelons for the eating contest from Jim's Melons. That's right, Jim's Melons, home of the world-famous Pecos melons.
Oh, he's got some nice melons.
Everything you need to know about the first ever KLAQ Watermelon Party is at KLAQ.com, also on the KLAQ mobile app.
You know, I think they're also doing that thing where they get a watermelon, grease it up, throw it in the pool, and they're going to get a bunch of people to try and grab it.
You say that thing as if that is a common thing that people have heard of.
It's a very common thing.
A greased watermelon.
A greased watermelon.
Now, I have heard of, and
you just need to watch It's Always Sunny.
When I was a child, like 10 or 12.
So like 90 years ago.
I participated in a greased pig competition at the county fair.
Is that what you and your friends called chasing girls?
Coincidentally, that is also what we called chasing girls in my hometown. But the greased, they would put lard on this pig, and then a bunch of kids had to get out there and try to grab the thing. Have you ever heard of anything more country bumpkin than that?
Pretty country bumpkin.
Okay. We've got Today in Sound Clips, so let's go ahead and get into that today and get things started.
And now, Today in Sound Clips.
We're going to start with the big news that President Donald Trump was shot at and either grazed or he was bleeding. There was some kind of injury to his ear. And now they're really having a lot of questions about the security that was provided for President Trump, and how did a shooter get up on a building that was that close to where the candidate was going to be speaking. So I've heard it anywhere between 140 to 160 yards away. So just imagine the length of a football field and then the length of half a football field. That's how close the sniper or the would-be assassin was to the dais where the president was speaking. Here is the moment. This was all captured on video and audio, and there's this amazing still photograph from a photographer for the New York Times. He took the photograph in high definition. It shows the bullet whizzing by Trump's head. Former President Trump was, well, today I see they're saying shot in the air. There was some question about whether or not it was shrapnel from a nearby teleprompter. But they're reporting that President Trump was shot in the ear in an apparent assassination attempt. I think it's a little more than apparent. He was holding a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania during his speech. Shots could be heard. One of them grazed former President Trump's ear. Here's the moment that it happened.
That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
They talked to a few people in attendance at the rally, and at least some of them were telling reporters that they had seen the guy on the roof and notified police, and that police didn't do anything about it. A BBC reporter nabbed an interview with this guy. His name's Greg Smith, who was an attendee at the Trump rally, who said that he warned police, there's a guy on the roof. He's got a gun.
We noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building, 50 feet away from us. We're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof. He had a rifle. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. He's crawling. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
There are definitely a lot of questions to be answered, and this is going to be heavily investigated to find out everything that went on the law enforcement side, whatever's going on with this 20-year-old gunman. That investigation is already underway.
It was a kind of a surreal video to watch because they don't sound like gunshots, like normal gunshots. It sounds almost like
a little pop, pop, just like little pops.
Like it sounds like a pellet gun almost. And the reaction of the crowd seemed strange too.
In what way? I know some of them crouching and looking around.
Right.
I mean, there was really no place to run. They didn't stampede. I got to hand it to the crowd there, that kind of mass confusion, and somebody's bullets are whizzing by.
That's what I would expect, yeah.
It's just like a complete mayhem. I guess they had Secret Service snipers, and they, according to one witness, just blew this gunman's head off with a well-placed shot. Here is dramatic audio from the podium microphone that caught some of the sounds of Trump being surrounded. So this is when he's down on the ground and the Secret Service is all over him. Some things to listen for. At about 8 seconds in, a female Secret Service agent asked, "What are we doing?" Then they begin standing Trump back up. Somebody says, "Hawkeye's here." That's the armored vehicle they use to get Trump off the stage. You're going to hear shooters down. Female and male agents confirm the shooter's been taken out. Trump tries to get his shoes back on. One was left on stage, but an agent did grab the MAGA hat that he was wearing. And then finally, Trump tells them to wait so he can raise his fist, and then you hear the crowd cheer. So that's kind of the timeline of this less than a minute audio.
Take a look at what happened.
When you're ready, on you. Ready? Move! Up, move! Go! Up. Hawkeye's here.
Hawkeye's here.
Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move? We're good to move. We're clear. Let's move. We're clear. We're good. Come on. Let me get my shoes.
All right, so that was Trump there saying, "Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes."
Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold on, your head is bloody.
So we got to move to the bus.
Let me get my shoes.
Okay, my shoes down.
Wait.
All right, we've got some more audio from this in an Oval Office address to the nation. Biden called on Americans to tone things down and take a step back.
Yesterday's shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania calls on all of us to take a step back, take stock of where we are, how we go forward from here. Thankfully, former Trump is not seriously injured.
Outlining what happened on Saturday, President Joe Biden says we have to stop heading in this direction.
A former president was shot, an American citizen killed, while simply exercising his freedom to support the candidate of his choosing. We must not go down this road in America. We've traveled it before throughout our history. Violence has never been the answer.
What's interesting, Donald Trump has been quoted as saying, I will rewrite my RNC attack speech on Biden into a unity call. Right.
You know what? If he did that, I would have to say I would be very impressed. If he gets out there and says, hey, listen, things have gotten a little out of control here. We all need to simmer it down a little bit. But if he uses it just as a cry or a call for revenge or retribution, those are terms that he's used in this election cycle, I would be very disappointed.
Well, in an interesting telltale sign on Donald Trump's Truth Social, 2 words he posted right after President Biden's speech: unite America.
This happened in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro said that any differences that we have to be dealt with peacefully.
Political disagreements can never, ever be addressed through violence. Disagreements are okay, but we need to use a peaceful political process to settle those differences.
There's another presidential candidate in this race, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who called for an end to the kind of language that's being used.
My reaction is, I hope, Sean, that Americans can kind of take a step back and take a breath and say, it's time to end the vitriol.
Let's go back to the Biden address. And Biden is also going to speak to the country later today. In his address, though, on Saturday, he added that there are few details known about the attempted assassin.
We do not know the motive of the shooter yet. We don't know his opinions or affiliations. We don't know whether he had help or support or if he communicated with anyone else.
Biden said that in America, we resolve our differences by voting, not with bullets.
But in America, we resolve our differences at the battle box. You know, that's how we do it, at the battle box, not with bullets.
The Republican National Convention gets underway today in Milwaukee at the Milwaukee Convention Center. RNC coordinator Audrey Gibson Cicchino said that there will be no changes to the security plan for the RNC convention.
During our extensive planning efforts, we have accounted for various security scenarios that may arise, and we are confident in the plan we have implemented for the Republican National Convention this week. That security plan will remain in place.
There was a mass shooting at a nightclub in Birmingham, Alabama that happened on Saturday night. At least 4 were killed and 10 injured. One man was found fatally shot outside the nightclub on the sidewalk. 2 women were found dead inside the club. Here is Birmingham, Alabama Police Chief Scott Thurman, who said the violence has to stop after over a dozen people were injured or killed in the nightclub shooting in Birmingham on Saturday.
To combat this issue, to combat what has occurred in the last 24 hours, and to let everyone know this is unacceptable and that we will not tolerate this behavior any longer in our city. There are too many families who have been devastated and destroyed because of gun violence in our city.
This came as kind of a surprise. On Friday, Judge Mary Marlowe Sommer dismisses the manslaughter trial against Alec Baldwin. His lawyers, Baldwin's lawyers, had argued that prosecutors buried evidence.
Dismissal with prejudice is warranted to ensure the integrity of the judicial system and the efficient administration of justice. Your motion to dismiss with prejudice is granted.
This is, this is super interesting. If you read up a little bit more on it, because Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who was the armorer on the film Rust, she was convicted of
got sentenced to I think 18 months, or
she did, by the same prosecutor who was trying Alec Baldwin in this case. Now, the question that really nobody has answered, and still hasn't really been answered, is how did live ammunition get on the set of Rust? Who brought it? They don't have answers, really. Although there was an armorer or somebody that with several different bullets that were not turned, that came in late to police or something. And the police gave it to the prosecutor, these bullets that were supposedly from the set, and didn't turn it over to Alec Baldwin's attorneys. That's like something you have to do.
Yeah, you have to share your information.
And they didn't do that. And so it was super dramatic. Did you see the judge reading out those things?
I didn't see it, no.
Oh, in the middle of her testimony, you see Alec Baldwin tearing up. You can hear everybody's... also what's interesting, supposedly the judge put on gloves herself so she could look at the evidence. After the defense called this motion to dismiss, she held a hearing to see what was the fuss about, and she actually she analyzed the evidence herself, which is supposedly crazy.
All right, got a couple of more items for you here, just a couple. A woman reportedly was busted, but not until she had stolen from the same store 30 times. And it was at TJ Maxx.
Fool me once, shame on you.
Fool me 29 times, shame on you. It was the same TJ Maxx location. Up to 30 times she had hit the same store. Here is City Prosecutor Douglas Hobart talking about the accusations against serial shoplifter Florence Leslie Miller.
In my 25 years as a city prosecutor, I've never seen a case with 30 counts. I've never seen a person go this long without being caught. The police reports showed a pattern of a person entering a store, spending very little time on the floor of the store, grabbing merchandise and simply walking out.
The price of stamps has just been hiked for the fourth time in 2 years. They're now 73 cents. In 2023, they were 60 cents, so it's gone up incrementally 4 times.
Oh, no!
Here is a man in Kansas who is just not happy about the price increase for stamps.
It's like everything else. Prices are going up, and for somebody on a fixed income like me, it's just getting worse and worse. And not just stamps, but food. And I don't drive, but I saw gas may go up again very soon.
Who buys stamps? Like, honestly, who buys stamps?
I have not bought stamps since I bought Forever Stamps back in, over 10 years ago.
And you can always use those.
Yeah, if I
they're forever.
If I knew where they were, they're around here somewhere. But I have such little cause to ever use stamps, I may just have them for the rest of my life.
Who's sending letters?
Here you go. There you go. Here are the old Forever Stamps from the mid-2000s. I still have most of them. And I guess they're going to raise the prices because they got fewer customers, not as many people sending letters, so they got to raise the prices on it. So I guess the last person to send the last letter is probably going to pay something like $1,000 for a stamp.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard rumors that former President Abraham Lincoln
was a vampire hunter?
No, that's not what I was going to ask.
Well, he
was gay, or at least bi.
I have heard that. Yeah, right? He liked to wrestle.
I don't think that's the part that made him.
But he did like to wrestle.
He was a champion wrestler.
Yeah.
Like locally in his youth.
Bareback.
He was supposedly the strongest man in the entire county that he lived in. So there's a documentary called Lover of Men, The Untold History of Abraham Lincoln. This documentary is going to be out soon. So for a period of time, Abraham Lincoln, before he was president, shared a dwelling of some kind.
Was it a log cabin?
No, he was born in a log cabin. He shared a room and possibly even a bed, I believe is the version I've heard, with another man. And that these two had a correspondence that was very, very, very friendly. Here is a clip for the trailer for the upcoming documentary, Lover of Men, The Untold History of Abraham Lincoln.
One of the things that fascinates scholars is his bedding down with Joshua Speed for 4 years.
There is love between those two men.
When you put together all of the evidence, it's really startling.
Joanna is a gay whisperer.
Lincoln.
Yeah, does your gaydar go off anytime you see a picture of,
God,
a penny or whatever?
I mean, just look at that beard.
That top hat. Did he wear a top hat?
Times were different. I mean, sometimes
Stovetop
people slept in closer quarters because there weren't that many places
Did
to
people
stay.
just share beds? Yeah.
People shared beds. You remember that scene in The Patriot?
Or I was thinking Willy Wonka.
Oh, yeah. Willy Wonka. Grandpa Joe and the other set of grandpas, too. So anyway.
Yeah, were they gay?
No, I was talking about The Patriot where they put the Heath Ledger and the hot girl in the bed together, but then they sew them up.
Into sex, so they can't have sex.
Abraham, an honest man, lived in a cabin made of wood. And late at night, by candlelight, he did his homework like he should. 407 years is what he said at Gettysburg. He freed the slaves, he had a beard, and he spoke those immortal words.
I guess with Mary Todd, he had two beards.
And then one day, while out of play, they put a bullet in his head. But that's okay, he lives on today. Lincoln's legacy's not dead. A, B, is for the one that we call A, B.
All right, let's
LINC, Hotel.
We're going to take a break and come back. We've got more of the Buzz Adams Morning Show on the way right after this.
Hey, it's Chuck, your host for Loudwire Nights. Tonight at 7, we will rock the borderland with the best rock ever made and the best rock being made. Special guests, birthday and anniversary celebrations, and every night at 10.
Fosters a lifelong. Their future is bright with IDEA. Enroll today. Classes begin August 5th.
Live from the KLAQ studios, the Buzz Adams Morning Show. Courtesy of Glasheen, Vyas, and Inderman Personal Injury Lawyers. At GVILaw.com.
All right, Joanna's going to have the Hollywood Cheese Man. I've got random facts on the way for you this morning. We've gotten a lot of phone calls over the weekend, many of them about the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. So we'll get to these eventually.
All right. Now, we've breached the topic of it, and as serious as it is, there's some things that just need to be pointed out. Like our good friend, frequent emailer, Derek Terry wrote us.
Okay.
And Joanna, did you see that email?
I'm nervous about these, but Go ahead.
I saw one earlier
Yeah, I didn't. I don't think you want to read that one.
that made me laugh.
The one where he said, "Thank God
Yes.
it wasn't a black guy." That's what he. But
Has any- has any-
I thought the same exact thing.
Thank God it wasn't an Armenian guy?
No,
I thought it was
a Mexican.
I'm so glad it wasn't someone from the raza.
Yeah, that it wasn't a Mexican.
Can you? Okay, here's the thing for you. Can you think of a single political assassination that was carried out by an African American?
No.
But off the top of your head, can you think of any political assassination in the U.S. that was carried out by an African American?
No.
There's got to be some, like, at least on a local level, someplace.
Probably.
But, like anything presidential, absolutely not.
Right.
So I don't know why your mind or why Derek's mind would automatically go to that. It just does not seem that there's a lot of precedent for that. What do we know about the shooter so far? You know what? I'll give you a minute to get your thoughts together on this, because I know that we don't know everything that the Secret Service and law enforcement know at this point. And there's going to be a thorough investigation to find out what he was doing on his social media. Had he made any threats? Apparently, he was not on any kind of law enforcement radar at all. And there's the question about how somebody climbed up on a building that close with a rifle without, and I was going to say without being seen, but he was seen. There were people in the audience who said they told police there's a guy up there with a gun.
Right.
A lot of questions to be answered.
Secret Service is blaming local police for the shooter being allowed to get up on that roof. Apparently, they were in charge of perimeter security around where those buildings were.
The local police were.
Yes.
You were talking about the price of stamps, which has now gone up to 73 cents.
Which, as somebody who does not use stamps or writes letters, sounds silly that we even have this technology. But apparently, people are using stamps still.
Hey, good morning, guys. Just want to make a quick comment about the increase of price of stamps. It actually will affect me. You just asked who mails letters, who buys stamps. Businesses do. I do. We send out a lot of letters. Matter of fact, I have a big mailer to all my clients going out next month. We're talking about 2,700. And that 20-cent difference or whatever it is, matter of fact, I still thought it was 55 cents, but I guess I just don't pay attention because they don't print the price of the stamp on it anymore. It just says forever. But yeah, it is going to affect a lot of people, but that's not really the main purpose of my call. It's that the U.S. Postal Service, most people don't know this, it is the only agency in the entire government that is not funded by taxpayer dollars.
Mm-hmm.
They are 100% self-sufficient on their postage, and they do a lot of freight, a lot of ground shipping for businesses like Amazon and things like that. So a lot of the revenue comes from that, but they don't take taxpayer dollars, and the biggest problem with them having to raise it, or the reason they have to, is because Congress mandates the U.S. Postal Service to fund the retirement, should I say the retirement fund of the USPS for 75 years. Okay, so that means right now that U.S. Postal Service retirement fund has to have 75 years worth of retirement, and that's actually pretty ridiculous. No other agency has that. Maybe some do, but they do have taxpayer dollars behind them. So if they were to make the change and drop that requirement, let's say to 30%, they'd have much more free revenue to avoid these type of increases.
All right. Thank you for the call. I looked this up. It is true that generally, and up until recently, the Postal Service was mostly self-funding, but there have been a couple of changes. On April the 9th, the Biden administration threw its support behind funneling tax dollars to fund the Postal Service's new generation of mail delivery fleet.
I think they're going electric.
And the Postal Service acknowledged on April 2nd that it has accepted almost $9 billion of taxpayer funds to offset some of the losses during the COVID-19 pandemic. Why would the I mean, if any time people were sending letters or using the mail, it would have been during COVID, I guess. But even
probably
then,
because
I mean, it's just kind of outdated technology. I know there are some things that it's still crucial and essential for, but for the most part, day to day, people don't.
No, I'm so thankful for that caller that just called in, because I was the one that was kind of sarcastically asking that question, but he answered. No, business people who use mailers are still absolutely, and I didn't even think about that somebody like him who has to send out, maybe hundreds of mailers, that the 20-cent price difference is going to be maybe make $1,000 difference.
Who they need to charge more? People that send junk mail. I mean,
right?
Do they pay a stamp every time I get one of my 10,000 mail ads for Pella windows that I get every year?
Yeah, thank God for them.
No, do they have to pay 73 cents to send me that little
maybe
postcard?
They have a hookup, yeah.
They might have some kind of hookup. We're going to get to random facts coming up here in just a few moments. It's Monday, everybody. Welcome back from the weekend. We've got a lot to talk about today.
Monday is my favorite time of year. I'm gonna tell you what I really think I like about Mondays. Could it feel like Saturdays when you don't gotta go to work every day the hard day? I wake up when I want to. I do anything I wanna do. Can't wait for Tuesday. I really never like Fridays. Can't do what I wanna do. Sold out at the movies. Can't eat at the restaurant. Everybody wanna get tight. Put the boards for a cigarette smoke. I think I'll stay home. I think I'll wait for Monday. After a 5-day weekend, I got a year-long holiday. Thank God it's Monday. Only place that I gotta be is at the show on the first tee. Thank God for irony. Never mind the aggravation, modulation. Give me another key. I tell you I like Tuesdays, cause I kinda like Christmas. Come to think about Wednesdays, I'm a little like hot dog. Thursday, Thanksgiving, I'm talking about the living. I think I'll get things. Thank God it's Monday. 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 Thank God it's Monday.
Find out what's going on. Quirky facts about our region. Urgent things you need to know impacting your drive. And of course, nothing but El Paso's best rock.
Tech.edu. Don't give up. Rise up at Western Tech. College for the real world.
The Buzz Adams Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 5 to 10. KLAQ and KLAQ HD1, El Paso, a town square media station.
Looking outside the weather window, we are going to have highs, triple digits, 101 today, 102 tomorrow. Also a chance of rain this afternoon into the evening. And the rain's mostly going to clear out, although this weekend we could get some rain. Even if it doesn't make it to 100, upper 90s, at least for high temperatures this week. I've got random facts on the way here in just a few minutes.
Hey, I got a couple things I wanted to see if both of you had heard anything about these things. One, Joanna, I know you are a big fan of soccer or football.
Football.
Did you watch the thing yesterday?
No, I didn't.
I know there's been a hell of a lot of it on TV the last couple of weeks.
I guess it's the Copa America Championship?
Yes.
That means the American Cup, I'll bet.
Yeah, basically.
Didn't even think about that.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, cool. Apparently it was
The one in Miami?
Yeah, the one in Miami.
Yeah.
Apparently the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, the gate somehow came open and thousands of people flooded into the stadium without tickets.
Without tickets?
Yes.
I mean, those things look crowded as hell.
So that's what I was going to
already.
ask you, John. So you know this story?
I know the story. Yeah, I just didn't see it happening,
Yeah.
which is causing major concern because they're going to be hosting the World Cup in like 2 years.
Miami is.
Yeah. So they're like, what are you going to do about all that security?
Anyways, I thought that was interesting. And Buzz, for you, did you hear the AT&T hack?
Yes.
Did you get a letter or anything about this?
I haven't gotten it yet, but I heard them describing it, and what they were saying was, thank God they didn't get anybody's social security number or like a check routing number or banking number, but they could tell how many times one number called, and as soon as they were there,
number.
I was like, yeah, I don't care about that.
Okay. I guess it's like if you don't want anybody knowing who you've been calling, then you should be worried.
Yeah, right. So they were explaining on that. It's like, well, they could take the numbers and say, hey, look, this number called this number, but they wouldn't be able to identify the individuals. Yeah, I don't care unless there's something big I'm missing here.
So
as long as nobody's out there cleaning out my bank account,
The release was made last week by them. A massive AT&T data breach has seen hackers able to steal the personal data of almost every customer the company has, a total of 110 million Americans.
But the data was pretty limited to numbers, times called, numbers that were called from that number, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That might be a security breach of, if it were a president or a...
right. That's a good point.
For me, I
at least it's not yours.
No skin off my nose yet. Although I just think it's a matter of time until somebody just steals everything because
of yours,
of anybody's.
Like you wouldn't be surprised to be the victim of some type of cyber crime.
No, I'm pretty helpless in the cyber world. It's like sometimes I suspect that somebody is slowly draining my bank account. I had that one unpleasant experience a few years ago when someone was draining my banking account.
Why did you look at me when you said that?
I looked at Joanna to see if she was. I couldn't remember if Joanna was on the show when this happened.
About his maid, yeah.
I was.
She was. We were all there.
Just hot checks. Found a checkbook laying around and was writing herself, $5,000 checks at whatever the limit is before they investigate. And
you are paying for my HBO Max.
I'm paying for your HBO Max.
For you, Lisa.
My cousin.
We got a question here. It seems like, I don't know if this is a report or if there's an actual question here, but it's from 5 Points, guys. So let's listen to 5 Points real quick.
Hey, Buzz, it's 5 Points, guys. So I go to make some Hot Pockets right now, right?
Yeah.
Midnight munchies, you know what I mean? And so I go make some Hot Pockets right now. And I go and I get them, and they don't use the pockets no more. Like, Hot Pockets no longer use the pocket.
Well, hold on a second here. Wait a minute. You're blowing my mind here.
Yeah.
What do you mean they don't use a pot? Does he mean like the little paper sleeve that goes around it?
Well, that helps cook it. That's the pocket.
But that's not the pocket.
It is the pocket because after you cook it, you fold the ends in and you can use it to hold it.
I thought the pocket was just the pita was the pocket. Pocket pita. Pita pocket.
No.
Pita piper pick a peck a pocket.
You make a little pocket to hold it.
So,
I guess you could grab a paper towel.
It's too hot sometimes.
For the paper towel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you read the box, it says, where did the microwave sleeve go? After decades of Hot Pockets perfection, we've been breakthrough. We put our expertise to work to make sure that every Hot Pocket bite is delight for your taste buds. And guess what? Our Hot Pockets are now sleeve-free. So they can't be called Hot Pockets anymore because they don't have the pocket. I don't know. When did they do this? I just barely noticed. I don't really eat Hot Pockets that often. I just bought them. I think the last time I had a Hot Pocket was like a year ago probably. But it's not an item that I eat too often, but still.
I always considered the pocket to be the bread or the,
How
like
is
the
that
pita.
a pocket?
It's got all the stuffing inside of it, like a pocket would.
Oh, yeah. Is that the definition of pocket? What's the definition of a
Why
pocket?
do they call it a hot pocket? I didn't think they were referring to the tiny little tube of cardboard or whatever it was.
We have a Hot Pocket expert on the show right now. Please welcome Joanna Barba.
All right, Joanna, can you set me straight on this whole Hot Pocket conundrum?
Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing about there being no sleeve.
I guess it's been a long time since I ate a Hot Pocket, but I used to bring them for breakfast a
I
lot.
just got some like a couple weeks ago, I think.
And
there was still a little sleeve for them.
Sleeve, right. Don't get your sleeve confused with your pocket.
The sleeve isn't the pocket.
The Hot Pocket is
Pocket
the pocket.
is the pocket.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right. I'm glad you said that. I didn't want to think I was going crazy.
not at all.
I got random facts ready to go here in just a second. One more call.
Hey, Nico. Hey, Joanna. Hey, Nico, you were talking about the Copa America. So they had to open the gates and just let so many fans in, or they were going to have a crisis on their hands, stampeding or what. The people were squishing each other. These tickets were like $2,000-something a piece.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
The skyboxes were like $5,000. So it's not like $20, $50, $100 tickets. But that's how Argentinian fans and Colombian fans are back home. It's madness, man. Anyways, have a great day, guys. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
Those freaking Argentinians.
That seems like a overly broad blanket statement
Those
to be a little
freaking Colombians.
Well, they definitely take it very seriously over there.
And now it's time for 1, 2, 3 random facts.
I've noticed that people really like when I have the last fact be an audio fact.
Yeah, that is fun.
Yeah, people enjoy that. All right, all of these have been fact-checked. I am confident to tell you that, these have been verified. They've all got a blue check mark by them.
Awesome.
Are all real facts. Random fact number 1. There's a Guinness World Record for most prolific cannibal. It's a tribal chief from Fiji who lived in the 1800s named Ratu Urdre, who ate between 872 and 999 people in his life.
Wow.
That's the one I'm going to try and break.
New goals.
Random fact number 2. I would love to hear from somebody who's live long enough to know this, to tell us the truth. Brushing your teeth didn't really take off in the United States until after World War II, when soldiers came home from the war bringing the habit of brushing teeth. So if you were alive before World War II, you'd be in your 80s by now.
Okay.
So maybe Biden could answer this. Did you not brush your teeth? Or was that just like, what? And until World War II ended and the soldiers, and then everybody started brushing their teeth? Is that true?
Oh my God. What did they do then? Just walk around with a bunch of nasty breath?
Yeah.
Gingivitis. Oh.
I could not start my day with that morning breath, dead animal feeling that you have, when you first wake up.
Yeah.
God. Even when I'm as sick as a dog and don't plan on getting out of bed all day long, at least I brush my teeth. I can't imagine going without brushing your teeth, but apparently, and it's right here in Wikipedia, didn't really become a common practice in the U.S. until after World War II. And finally, I love this one because it's a band I love. Random fact for you. Electric Light Orchestra has the record for the most top 40 hits.
Oh.
Wait, without a number 1.
Oh, okay.
They had 20 songs that made the Billboard Top 40, but none of their songs went to number 1. So here are some of the top 40 hit songs that I think if you're a classic rock fan, you're going to recognize all of these. None of them went to number 1, though. You know that one, right?
Yeah.
One of my favorites right here. I love this song. It's one of my favorite songs. I'm going to even play it extra long because I love it so much. All right, that's about enough. know this one?
No.
That's a classic. You know this one, though, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So just a little more on this fact. Their highest ranking song was Don't Bring Me Down, which got all the way up to number 4 in 1979. And that's, you know that one? Don't bring me down. And then they go, Bruce. Jeff Lynne from ELO was also one of the members of the Traveling Wilburys. Tom Petty and Bob Dylan and George Harrison and Roy Orbison. I don't want to forget it.
I like that part.
Bruce. That's who's Bruce?
Who's Bruce?
Bruce. You know what? I'm going down a rabbit hole later on this song. Who's Bruce?
Now I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole.
And those are your random facts.
These are just some facts that I learned and was amazed. Everyone should try to learn something new each day.
Hey, it's Daniel Paulus. I'll be along starting at 3 with everything from GNR to STP.
Kinds of minor Upper Valley Urgent Care, 121 East Red Road, serving El Paso for over 15 years.
Broadcasting from El Paso for El Paso. The Buzz Adams Morning Show on 95.5 KLAQ.
We have tickets for the KLAQ Watermelon Party that's this Saturday at Western Playland. Come out and join us for a lot of fun. Of course, all the rides at Western Playland. And the ticket price is the regular Saturday ticket admission price for Western Playland, too.
Don't forget that greased up watermelon.
I have not seen anything about a greased up watermelon
I
yet.
don't think that's going to be a thing.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing that.
Oh,
you
like
are?
on the side.
Oh, yeah. This is a side hustle. This isn't anything official, guys. I don't agree. Are you kidding me?
Start
Just
with that.
Be careful when you see some watermelons at the park. They might be greased up.
Watch out for swinging melons.
Oh, there's going to be so many swinging melons.
Well, we're going to have...
I love watermelon.
I hope it's hot enough for there to be swinging melons.
There's some kind of contest going on. KISS FM versus KLAQ in the All in the Family feud.
They were describing this to us, and we're all, that's not Family Feud.
Right. That's not how Family Feud works.
That's not how you play Family
You
Feud.
go out and you interview 100 people.
We want a survey.
Are we going to do that there?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to be there?
We are. Yeah.
Awesome.
We're going to be there. We want to be there.
Yeah. No, finally, I'm invited to a really cool event.
Get ready. Find out all the details about the KLAQ Watermelon Party at KLAQ.com and also on the KLAQ mobile app.
I think watermelon's probably in my top 3 fruits.
Yeah?
Yeah. Goes apples.
Number 1, apple.
Number 1, apples. Number 2, cherries.
Cherries?
Yeah. I just made a black cherry compote last night.
It's cherry season.
And then 3, watermelon. Watermelon sugar, really.
Sure.
Nice.
Got some data here for those of you, maybe you're between your senior year of high school and your freshman year. Maybe you're taking a gap year, as they say, but this list is...
Wait, you didn't say your favorite fruits. Why'd you guys leave me hanging?
Apple. God, I used to love bananas until I got allergic to them. I did. I love bananas.
I know you did, and I've seen you eat it, and you start to get scratchy, and then you're like, "I'm still." He's still gonna finish it.
Still allergic.
Yeah, watermelon's great, man.
Apple's like the only thing you eat. Joanna, what's your favorite?
I'm trying to think of another.
Number one would probably be banana,
Nice.
pineapple, and watermelon.
Oh, pineapple. Mm.
How do you pick a watermelon?
Thump it. My dad
You
used to go in
thump
the. Yeah, I used to see him thumping it.
What are we supposed to be listening for when we thump the watermelon?
A little voice that says, I'm ready.
It was never explained to me by my dad what you were thumping for. But he'd put his ear, and he'd thump on him and then decide if it was a
He's
good
just
watermelon.
like, that's a good one.
He's hearing his ancestors whisper.
That's ready.
I thought you're supposed to smell it. No, that's cantaloupe, right? You're supposed to smell its butt.
I'll do some research. I'll find out the way that the experts say you're supposed to pick a watermelon.
Okay, thank you.
We have data on the most lucrative areas of study for college grads. So these are the degrees you get that pay the most right out of college. Okay?
Hotel management.
Hotel management.
That's a big one, yeah.
Let me just tell you, it's all engineering. Number one is computer engineering. You can expect to make $80,000 your first year. Followed by chemical engineering, $79,000. Computer science, which is a thing separate from computer engineering, you make $78,000 your first year. Aerospace, okay. All right, this isn't most of us, okay? Most of us are not going to get a degree in aerospace engineering.
Speak for yourself. There's a lot of engineers out there.
No, I'm just saying it's tough. You got to be really, really smart to get these. They're all engineering. Electrical engineering, industrial, mechanical engineering. A tie between general engineering and miscellaneous engineering. Okay, we get it.
So
now the first thing that's not like engineering is finance. If you major in finance, you could expect to make $66,000 a year.
Oh, God. All my friends in college were engineers.
Yeah?
And so I went to Rice for my first couple of years. And, yeah, everybody was either an engineer or a humanities student. And the engineering students were such jerks.
Really?
Yes. They're always like, what are you taking? English? You have to read? Oh, we have to do, like, math problems and problem sets. Well, you got to, like, write words.
Next is a four-way tie between civil engineering, economics, business analytics, and mathematics. Degrees in all of those, on average, will get you about $65,000.
But, again, remember, those are all the eventual jobs where you want them to have had this education. You want your
I don't want the guy who built the bridge just to have learned it from a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. By the way, all of these, I would have floundered. I just did not, I didn't have the gift for math or science, so.
Don't you have
God did not bless me with the ability to
God
enjoy
did not
math.
make me a smart man.
There we go.
I was not graced with handsome or intelligence or social graces. Next up.
Where's that from?
Waterboy, I think.
Yeah.
It's Ron Howard's brother Clint. Next comes, now listen to this one. These are not as deep in the weeds with STEM fields. Construction services and pharmacy. Both of those majors, your first year out, you could expect to be making $64,000.
Wow.
You want to hear the flip side? The fields with the lowest wages right out of college?
Yeah.
Theology and religion.
Yep, sounds about right.
Here's what happens. Most people with theology or religion, they get a job at a church that just does not pay them a lot. You don't make a lot of money. Unless you're like one of these mega...
Joel Osteen.
Yeah, unless you're Joel Osteen, but that's probably not a first-year gig.
That's like the Google of theology.
Performing arts. So if you're a performing arts major and you follow your major into the field that you studied for, there's a good chance you are waiting tables, doing gigs, driving Uber. You got your performing arts degree, but you're waiting to make a living for a few years out of it.
They should just call these majors that your family secretly laughs about you behind your back.
Liberal arts. leisure and hospitality. So you had brought up, I think, hotel management.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you probably start really close to the bottom in that field, and you're probably not making. So this is comparing how much you make right out of college. Okay?
Well, in the movie Dunstan Checks In,
believe that started an orangutan, did it not?
but the family he stayed with was the manager of the hotel and got to stay there.
The orangutan did.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, if you're going to college and you have an aptitude for science and engineering and math, you
keep it up.
That's a valuable major.
Yeah. If not,
we have options.
Try stand-up comedy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Try radio.
Yeah, maybe.
I've known some real dum-dums who have been pretty successful in radio.
Our boss already told you not to say things like that about Bobby Bones.
Attention. This station is looking for summer interns. Are you in college?
Yes.
Do you study communications?
No.
Do you have good grades?
No.
Doesn't matter.
Really?
Because when we look for summer interns, we look for other qualities. Like, are you hot?
Uh-huh.
Limber?
Oh, hell yeah.
Do you have a dealer?
Uh-huh.
A gag reflex?
What?
Can you grift?
I could try.
Can you hold your liquor?
Oh, yeah.
Would you get topless on a party bus? Do you think farts are funny?
Well.
Can you alphabetize CDs?
Uh-huh.
In your bikini?
Sure.
How long can you hold your breath? If you think you have what it takes, contact us today.
How's that?
And maybe tomorrow you'll be the station's new summer skin turn. Intern.
It's the Hollywood Cheese Man. It's the Hollywood Cheese Man. Joanna, tell us more.
And here is Joanna Barbo with today's Hollywood news. Good morning, Joanna.
Oh, good morning. The Daily Show had made plans to head to Milwaukee to do the show on the ground at the Republican National Convention. But with the events of this past weekend, those plans have now changed. Comedy Central has now said the show will be taking place from its home in New York City. Monday's broadcast of the show, typically hosted by Jon Stewart, will not air, and the late night series will pick up Tuesday through Thursday. Despite how it may appear, Pat Sajak is not unretiring. Buzz, you mentioned this last week. He's coming back.
I said that on Friday. He's coming back.
He will be hosting Celebrity Wheel of Fortune.
Wow. What did Tom Brady and Pat Sajak have in common?
That dude's everywhere. I thought he was going to be working in Hawaii. Well, to be clear, sources with direct knowledge say that it was always part of Pat's succession plan to do one last season of Celebrity Wheel of Fortune as he turned over the reins for Wheel of Fortune to Ryan Seacrest. The plan hasn't changed, and Pat will be joining filming of Celebrity Wheel of Fortune this summer, with the episodes airing in October. Can you imagine? Retiring, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to go back to work.
I can.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, we watched the Patriots play.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. After much delay, HBO has announced that production on Euphoria Season 3 will finally begin in January of 2025. Better yet, the entire principal cast will be returning. HBO previously pushed back production on the new season in March following a report that it had been scrapped entirely. It was also held up due to last summer's writers and actors strike, as well as the burgeoning popularity of actors Sydney Sweeney and Jacob Elordi. Creator Sam Levinson will return as executive producer and director, with cast members Zendaya, Sydney Sweeney, Jacob Elordi, Hunter Schafer, Storm Reed, Alexa Demi, and Eric Dane all coming back as well.
What's this show called?
Euphoria.
Yeah, I've never seen an episode of it.
With Zendaya, never.
It's all about teens and sex and drugs.
It really is about teens and sex and drugs, yeah. It will freak out some parents, probably. Watch it, though. It is good.
Yeah, because you have a kid.
Unfortunately, breakout star Angus Cloud will not return. He died at the age of 25 last year.
From drugs?
I think it was suicide.
Ooh.
No word on how they will handle his character in the show. And finally, death came in threes to Hollywood over the weekend. First up was sexpert Dr. Ruth, who died in her home in New York on Friday. She was 96 years old. Dr. Ruth became a media icon in the 80s thanks to her frank and open discourse about sex.
I don't know if you're going to play it or if you want me to or anything, but I've got a little bit of audio of each of our passed away celebrities. So here's
Dr. Ruth.
Here she is in 2012 discussing the popularity of 50 Shades of Grey, which was a runaway hit in 2012.
This book, what it will do is it actually will arouse a woman. And I would say to women all over the world, read it, use it in your own mind, and then spin off your own fantasies.
Okay.
Your own fantasies.
It will get you aroused.
How cute.
Did she fight? Is she the one that fought for Israel?
Yes.
She was a member, as is a requirement for all citizens. She was a member of the IDF in her youth. She was a sniper.
Dr. Ruth.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, then Richard Simmons passed away on Saturday, which was a day after his 76th birthday. His rep says that he celebrated it the day before, and there is no word on the cause of death.
Oh, God, all my friends who are comics have just put up the picture of Pauly Shore saying, somebody check on Pauly.
Somebody check on Pauly Shore. Richard's brother Lenny said, quote, "I don't want people to be sad about my brother. I want them to remember him for the genuine joy and love that he brought to people's lives." Simmons became a talk show staple thanks to his message of fitness, healthy eating, and positivity, along with his workout video, Sweatin' to the Oldies.
Do you want some audio here?
Yes.
So we're going to hear from Richard Simmons' workout video from the 80s. His appearance on David Letterman, his Chia Pet commercial. In 2016, calling in to the Today Show to let everybody know he was okay. Because there were a lot of rumors in 2016 that Richard Simmons was being held against his will. So here you go.
Are you ready to tone? Well, let's warm up those muscles.
Get your chia in shape with Richard Simmons Chia Pet. Just spread the seeds, water, and watch it grow.
Take us through a typical day. You get up. What time does your day begin? What time do you start?
4:30 or 5.
Mm-hmm. And what do? Go to Tune Up Masters and get oiled up? I do care. I do care.
It's just let's make fun.
No, I'm
it's
sorry.
pin the tail on Dickie. That's what it is.
For all the people that are worrying about me, I want to tell them that I love them with my whole heart and soul. And that not to worry, Richard's fine. You haven't seen the last of me. I'll come back, and I'll come back strong.
So it seems like this for Pauly Shore was a real passion project for him to play Richard Simmons in a biopic. And I don't know. I think actually it probably clears the way for him to make that movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because he'd been kind of
knows-
rebuffed by the real Richard Simmons.
Yeah, Richard did not want him to make that biopic.
Maybe Pauly did it.
He must have seen Son-in-Law.
Well, then finally, Shannon Doherty lost her battle with cancer on Saturday. She was only 53 years old.
Tragic.
Shannon was first diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015, but went into remission 2 years later. But during a court battle with her insurance company in 2020, she revealed that she was dying of stage 4 breast cancer. Just over a year ago, she revealed that it had spread to her brain. A few weeks ago, she said she was hopeful about her upcoming chemo treatment.
I guess she really became a household name when Beverly Hills 90210 came on.
Yeah.
But she was in Heathers.
Heathers,
with
yeah.
Winona Ryder.
Ooh, I was reading some juicy gossip about her time on 902.
She had a reputation as
902
90210.
90210.
It's the zip code for Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Part of Rosemead.
It's a lot of numbers. But yeah,
Right.
she had a reputation for being like that, right?
She was.
And there was
they
another girl.
labeled her like difficult.
Probably Tori Spelling.
No, apparently she
Tori
was
Spelling was the daughter.
She was the one in the middle
Aaron's
all the time.
Yeah.
God, there was another girl on that show.
Anyway, do you want to hear a little bit
Yes.
from, I guess, David Letterman posted this clip.
Well, I have horses, so I ride my horses. It's actually amazing that I was able to walk out here.
What kind do you
Well,
have?
they're really big. They're Holsteiners and Hanoverians.
Oh, the Hanoverians are enormous, aren't they?
Enormous. And I hadn't ridden in a couple of months because I hadn't had time, and I went out and I rode 2 of my horses in a row, and by the time I got off, I couldn't walk, and it still feels like I have, this 1,800-pound animal, like, between my legs. And
Oh, my.
Well, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
But is it because you hadn't ridden in a while?
It's because I hadn't ridden in a while, so I'm a little sore I'm going to stop.
That's your. These are your last stories, right? The trifecta of death.
And that's it for entertainment.
You look like you watched her on Charmed.
I love Charmed.
Yeah, you were a Charmed
girl. She was my favorite on Charmed. I don't think I'd watched the show after she died off the show.
Let's just kind of imagine, and I imagine there'll be a lot of people there. She's a very beloved celebrity. And I'm talking about Dr. Ruth Westheimer. So let's just imagine what her services might be like, okay?
Sex therapist, author, and talk show host Dr. Ruth Westheimer has died. As for her amazing career and legacy, we say, whoopee. She may have been short and unassuming, but she delivered a lot of bang for the buck.
Oh, my God.
She brought so much joy into our hearts, and even more into our pants. And now Dr. Ruth is stiff, just like the millions of men who took her advice. And finally, Dr. Ruth got laid to rest. Reporting from the Dr. Ruth funeral, I'm Willie Getsum.
Coming up after the Buzz Adams Morning Show, Glenn Garza and Daniel Paulus.
It's Warren's with TrialLawyers.com. Decades of experience available to you. Wyatt Underwood, TrialLawyers.com.
Live from the KLAQ studios, the Buzz Adams Morning Show. Courtesy of Glasheen, Vyas, and Enderman Personal Injury Lawyers at GVILaw.com.
All right, Nico is in today, is going to be doing the news. We're going to have that coming up. Oh, I'm sorry. I should mention Nico's very sick.
It's bad. I'm hoping to use this as an opportunity, though, to quit smoking cigarettes. I think that has caused a lot of my health problems in the past, respiratory and otherwise.
I've heard you say this before, though.
I mean, you can never stop trying. Otherwise, you just might as well give up. But I bring that up because one of the guys I worked with in the ER years and years and years ago saw me smoking a cigarette. I mean, I had started by then. And he said, let me try it. I used to smoke. And he tried this cigarette and he coughed a lung up. And he said, I quit when I got really sick and I couldn't smoke. And then after a week, I never smoked again. So I've been kind of hoping for a real good sickness.
I kind of quit drinking for about a decade after just
You drank a lot?
Not very often. But one time I was in Vegas and we just went ham all weekend long.
Who was we?
My girlfriend and I.
Oh, okay.
Well, I did. I mean, to the point where it was I didn't want to drink for at least a year.
Good.
And then I just it's no, man, I'm never having that Las Vegas experience again.
Right.
It was terrible.
Make it something unappealing to think about.
How about some phone calls? I know you're going to be doing the news in a second. We're going to find out the latest on the assassination attempt against Donald Trump in Pennsylvania on Saturday, and the Republican National Convention gets underway today in Milwaukee.
Also, I have a lot of app chat messages.
Oh, sure. All right. We can hit you with all of those. Let me make sure everybody's got the telephone numbers. You can call us directly in the studio if you want to talk to us live. Give us a call on the studio line. That number is 915-910-4995. That's 915-910-4995. Or the neck line, which you can call anytime, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Just dial the neck line at 844-805-NECK. That's 844-805-6325. All right. We've had a number of comments coming in. And comments and questions.
Hey, Buzz. Where does a professional comedian land on most lucrative degrees? Just checking with y'all. Have a good day, guys. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
I don't think there is a degree for stand-up comedy.
We had a whole podcast about this last week. Joanna, I thought that if you didn't know how the entertainment industry worked or weren't even remotely familiar with it, if you just were a fan, right? Like I was a fan of stand-up. I had no idea where they went to become that.
Yeah.
Right? You'd be like, do you go? I thought they went to school.
So
I honestly thought you went to like college for a writing degree. You went for a writing degree, and maybe you went to like a theater camp or something.
Well, and some of them might have done that. I mean, the comics
but that
you
still
know
wouldn't be the normal or
what
the route.
The majority route. Yeah.
What percentage of stand-up comics who've made it a career got their college degrees?
I'd say 50 to 70%. I don't know.
Did go to four-year college?
But my point is, if you asked how many became professional comics from open mics, and
that's close to 100.
That's close. That's about probably 90%, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just go to a place where they have a microphone open to the public, and you do it. Anyways, no degree for that.
Yeah, there's no degree for that.
Except the School of Hard Knocks.
This is Back Guy. Remember Born Again Christian? We decided to shorten that, and he seems to approve because he's calling himself that now. So this is Born Again Christian Guy.
Good morning, Morning Show. This is a BAC guy. I was wondering, I've always wondered if Richard Simmons was gay. He looked a little gay, which is fine. I don't have a problem with the gay community. I love everyone. I try to anyway. Okay, Morning Show. Have a great morning. Bye-bye.
I would say that my money would be on gay.
You know that Richard Simmons, he looked a little light in the loafers, if you know what I mean. I don't know. I don't think his sexuality was ever a big topic, was it? And you probably watched him more than I did.
Yeah, always. Anytime he was on Letterman, or especially Stern.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, that was definitely, yeah, of course. What are you, dumb? Of course he was gay. Let's see. I'm just picking up random calls.
You want to hear some of the app chat messages?
Yeah, let's do that.
Julie says ripe watermelons make a hollow sound when you thump them. Or
is that what all that thumping's about?
Yeah.
Oh.
Jimmy says, Buzz, all of the best ofs are scaring me. Please don't retire.
All of the best ofs. I was on vacation for a week.
Yeah. You're not okay. What's your retirement plan? Do you have any right now?
Every day Buzz comes and tells me, I think I'm just ready to retire.
No, he has no plans for that. Like,
and I'm all like, why don't you? Go for it.
He wouldn't know what to do with himself. Carlos says, let's not blame Argentina/Colombia fans. In the last Euro Cup of 2020 that was held in Wembley Stadium in the United Kingdom, it was even worse than it was yesterday.
UK fans, those hooligans can get awfully rowdy and violent.
It says people were hurt, people died. They even made a documentary about it called The Final Attack on Wembley. Orfex says the data breach only...
The AT&T data breach?
Yeah. It's only a big deal if they got numbers. That's a big sale point for fraud. They can call legit numbers to engineer scams and sell that to the competition to call you directly.
Hey, good morning. Hey, Nico, it's great to hear you back on the radio, man. I missed you, brother.
Oh,
I missed your point of view, your sense of humor, and I mostly miss Buzz yelling at you. But I heard that you wanted to quit smoking, but you can't. Are you having trouble doing it?
Yeah.
You know what, dude? I don't know if you ever tried them. It's called Zyn, Z-Y-N. The nicotine pouches. It's, I tried them whenever I'm, knocking a few beers back.
I think I've heard of these before.
Yeah.
Somebody brought this up either on our show or on some other show.
Didn't somebody give us one time or give you? It's like a little pouch that has nicotine in it. And then you put it in your gum and you're supposed to gum it. Like, I think so, like chewing tobacco.
Like those are really nice, and they get you really nice and nicotined up and ready to tackle the rest of the night. So if you don't want to smell like a sock anymore, bust a Zyn. It's a Zinderella, a Zinzinati. You just be like, hey, guys, you want to smoke a cigarette? Nah, bro. I got myself a Zimbabwe. Boom. You just bust it in. You why a cigarette? You don't need cigarettes anymore, bro. And trust me, it'll give you the same effects. You'll get the nice little nicotine rush.
Ooh.
You'll go to the restroom, you know. I pop one and I'm like, ooh, I got to go take a dump. And it's pretty nice. So try it out, bro. Zyn, ZYN.
ZYN, got it.
And they got rewards. If you get enough points, you can get a smoker, a Traeger smoker or a Traeger grill.
Oh.
So
hey.
10 rewards. Later.
What do you work for them?
It sounded like a
do I get
like
to be
an
part of
endorsement.
yeah, do I get to be part of your downline?
We've got news headlines coming up here in just a little bit. In just a few moments, in fact, Nico's going to have the news on the way for us. Let's get to our late night roundup from over the weekend. It's mostly Bill Maher here, but Bill Maher's show was on Friday. It would have been a very different show, I feel like. It was the night before the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. So here's some of your late night roundup from the weekend. Here we go.
Before Justin Timberlake and Tiger Woods open their new sports bar, they have to tell us what it's going to be called. Because I have to tell you, fellas, you're missing a real opportunity if you don't consider DUI Fridays. The designer who showed an I Love Ozempic t-shirt during Berlin Fashion Week has to apologize. It sends the message that models get skinny by injecting Ozempic, and that's just wrong. They get skinny by injecting heroin. And snorting coke and chain-smoking Marlboros. You know, the old-fashioned way of losing weight before Big Pharma came along and ruined everything.
Buzz Adams Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 5.
And get every dollar down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th. See Home Club for details.
Oh, we're back. Buzz is back.
Hey, right on, Buzz.
Buzz in the Morning Show, 95.5, The Q.
Calm down. Calm down. I was caught a little off guard just because there is a really important breaking story that's just coming over the wire now.
So just for anybody who's listening, if you hear like a big pause of nothing between stuff, that's Buzz supposed to put stuff on.
To play this.
Plays back our rejoiner music.
So I was reading all about this, and I'm sure you're going to talk about it in the news, but there's been a huge development, and it involves Donald Trump.
What did you just ask me my opinion on, though?
I don't remember.
We were just talking about... Oh, God, what were we just talking about?
Yeah, tell me. What were we just talking about?
There was a reason you were distracted. We were talking about...
Well, I was looking into this.
It's hilarious.
I'm sure you've got the news on this. So let's go ahead and get into our top stories for the day.
Wake up, fool!
Wow! Today is Monday.
TGIM. And here is Nugo Ajemian with today's top stories. You want to start with that because that's the latest news.
Sure. Well, Judge Cannon, the judge in former President Donald Trump's classified documents case, has dismissed the case. That's all I have.
Oh.
The judge in Florida has dismissed the criminal case about illegally holding on to classified documents that were found at Mar-a-Lago. District Judge Eileen Cannon, who was a Trump appointee, made the ruling after a hearing in which the former president's team urged her to drop the charges, notably after the U.S. Supreme Court said the president has immunity for official acts.
Yeah, but the whole documents thing happened when he was out of office and he refused to give them back.
Yes, he was no longer president in 2021 when the FBI went to Mar-a-Lago and seized some of the documents. I'm sure they didn't get all of them. Is this going to hold up? Do you think this has anything to do with the assassination attempt? Do you think there's just that much sympathy for Trump that the judge might have been on the fence about dismissing it, and then this was the thing that tipped the scale? Maybe.
Well, what's super interesting?
She had been getting criticized a lot recently for what some critics called very positive for Trump moves.
So apparently, several judges in her office and in like above her, in like the I don't know what the appellate court is or whatever. I don't know whatever hierarchy they have told her that she needs to step down or to pass this case along, specifically because
they perceive her to be compromised or whatever
for some rulings. Yeah, but also she's not in a big city. I think she's in a smaller city somewhere in Florida. And so people said that this case should have been moved to a larger city like Miami or Orlando because it's a classified documents case. So you need this special room.
I had not heard about this.
You don't know what a SCIF is? You've never heard this before?
Well, yeah, I know what a SCIF is.
Okay,
yeah.
so you need a SCIF.
And they didn't have a SCIF available
in her building. She actually forced the government to build a, I don't know, $1 million SCIF.
In the little town she lives in.
Yeah, in the court that she's in.
I got a live call. Joanna had asked me, how do you want to handle like live calls from people who want to talk about, the assassination attempt over the week? And I said, look, put calls through. I'm not going to, and I know I don't have to say this for most of you, I'm not going to put up with any wild conspiracy theories like it was a false flag by the Trump team. I'm not going to put up with anything that is irresponsible. Other than that, yeah, I can take some calls. We got Puppet. Hello, Puppet.
Hey.
Hey, fellas. Good morning. How are you all doing this
Doing
morning?
fantastic, Puppet. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Hey, I just wanted to call in and put my 2 cents worth in about this whole assassination attempt.
Mm-hmm.
What we're going to have here is a kumbaya moment, so that way we can bring everybody together, unite Americans, and appeal to all those undecided voters that haven't made up their minds, right? So we're going to unite America, make everybody believe that we are going to choose the chosen one for president.
Who is the chosen one?
Well, you've heard it before. Months back that Donald Trump is the chosen one.
Chosen? I mean, we vote. That's how we choose. What do you mean he's the chosen one?
The religious right. The religious right believes that Donald Trump is the chosen one to guide this country into where we need to be. Listen, the point that I'm trying to make is that the Donald Trump today is no different than the Donald Trump from last week. He is who he is, and he is not going to change. Once the dust settles and everything becomes normal again, you're going to end up with the same people behind Donald Trump that are leading him to exactly where he wants to be.
Okay, let me say this. I am waiting to see how Donald Trump talks about this incident. If he could very much use it to divide the country even more. I mean, if his rhetoric becomes more extreme or violent because of this, I think we're headed toward a bad place. I would be super impressed with Mr. Trump if he cautions and encourages, cooling things down, taking a step back. I don't know how this kind of near-death experience.
No, I think what Puppet, maybe what you're saying, Buzz, is he's saying that does that affect your vote? If are you going to vote for Trump now?
No.
Okay, so essentially everything about Trump that was
I'm going to criticize the things that I believe are legitimate to just
but
like
nothing's different about Trump. He hasn't gained some type of moral high ground.
I think a lot of fence sitters who will I vote for this guy again, or do I just not vote, or do I vote for Biden? I think a lot of people.
But does this give him more morals? Does this make him look like a better candidate? Does this make him look stronger? Does this make what is
I think it makes him look stronger to a lot of people. I mean, the guy got up and gave like the power fist salute, and a bullet had just hit him. Americans love that kind of stuff.
He's still just as unfit to be president as before
maybe
as
this
after.
is a life-changing event. Maybe Donald Trump will actually, be sincere and say, let's cool it down and let's quit. Listen, if you want to talk about vitriolic rhetoric, Donald Trump is the king of vitriolic rhetoric.
Paul Pelosi.
Yeah, the things they said about Nancy Pelosi's husband after he was attacked with a hammer, but I don't know. Puppet, wait and see. They got their convention this week. I kind of want to see do we get a responsible leadership who's trying, or a candidate who's trying to calm things down, or is he going to weaponize this even more? And honestly, I don't know. Time will tell. Thanks for the call.
Hopefully people won't fall for the sympathy vote. Poor guy, he was almost assassinated. I just want for the religious people to think about this. The devil was also an angel, a fallen angel.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Puppet. I appreciate the call. I'm just not going to let any of this conversation get too insane.
Yeah.
Joe, hello.
Hi, Buzz. It's Los Cruces Joe,
Hey.
active Democrat. How you doing this morning?
Doing good. How are you, Joe?
I just want to say what happened this weekend, and I was, I was in the kitchen cleaning up, and my nephew was in his room doing his homework, and he came running out and saying, Uncle Joe, put on the TV. There's been a shooting at a Trump rally, and I quickly flipped on the TV and saw what was happening live, and I'm originally from Pico Rivera, California, and my dad was active Democrat in the Viva Kennedy campaign, and I even saw Robert F. Kennedy when he Sr. when he drove down Whittier Boulevard, and I was only 7, so that night, Dad was watching the returns, and I was a little kid, so I went to bed, and then I heard my dad scream, "No!" And I ran out. And being from LA area, we saw our KTLA Channel 5 covering everything live. And like I said, it was the first time I saw my dad cry. This was 1968. But anyway, I just urge people that it's time to calm down. It's time to stop this hate, stop this violence, and don't listen to these loonies on social media who are coming up with all these wacky conspiracy theories. I mean, hey, it's okay to have a different political opinion. You can argue with your neighbors, maybe in your family, but when it comes down to the brass tacks on November, when it's time to vote, cast your ballot, and then turn to your neighbor and shake his hand, and that's what democracy looks like. This is America.
All right, Joe, appreciate the call. Thank you. All right.
What do you think about Puppet's point about some people deifying? Like, I've seen a lot of memes about him being the chosen one. God has chosen this man.
I was tuning into some of the talk shows early on Sunday, and they had Tim Scott was on there, and he the way they were talking about him, it sounded like they were talking about the resurrection of Jesus Christ and some of the similar terminology. I and maybe some people are going to be surprised to hear this, I'm extremely thankful that Donald Trump was not killed in this attempt.
Yeah.
That would be about the worst thing for our country. Even worse than Trump being elected 4 more years, or 8, or 16, or however long he's going to make it. Let's get a couple of stories in, then we're going to have to take a break.
Sure.
But I think the general point is, hey, you're going to hear a lot of amped up speech and accusations. There's an investigation. There are multiple investigations going on. Pump the brakes a little bit. Let's find out what the investigation turns up. And
who are you telling to pump the brakes?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of people who are saying Joe Biden orchestrated this attempted assassination.
Right.
I think if the president of the United States wanted to assassinate somebody, he wouldn't get a 20-year-old who just graduated from high school last year.
You know what I was telling you yesterday? Well, the thing that I find the most bizarre are some Trump supporters who are happy about this, that were actively cheering this happened.
I understand, because I think before the weekend, I would say, just because of what Biden had gone through and some of the concerns that have been raised even by Democrats, I thought Trump definitely had the upper hand. Let's say 65-70% chance of being elected. I think this failed assassination attempt almost all but ensures that he will win the election in November.
I think that's very premature to say.
You asked what I thought.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
You didn't ask me what I predicted was going to happen. I don't know. I mean, this definitely changes the math.
It does change. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Let's take a break. A lot of people have comments. A lot of people want to be heard, but we do have to get through the news, and we'll do that when we come back right after this.
Artist interviews, Zoo music discoveries, celebrating artists' birthdays, commemorating releases, champion of all things rock.
Tickets, warrants, with triallawyers.com. Decades of experience available to you. Wyatt Underwood, triallawyers.com.
El Paso's own live and local, The Buzz Adams Morning Show, 95.5 KLAQ.
All right, let's get back. We have a lot to talk about in the news today. Nico, take it away.
All right. Good morning, Buzz. Good morning, Joanna. In an Oval Office address to the nation Sunday night, President Joe Biden repeated calls for unity that he's made since the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump on Saturday evening.
The political record of this country has gotten very heated. It's time to cool it down. While we may disagree, we are not enemies. We're neighbors. We're friends, co-workers, citizens, and most importantly, we're fellow Americans.
In the aftermath of his being shot at his political rally, an attack that left one spectator dead and two others critically wounded, former President Donald Trump on Sunday called for unity, even as some of his vice presidential hopefuls and allies, right after the assassination attempt, blamed President Joe Biden and his rhetoric. Today is not just some isolated incident, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance wrote on X. The central premise of the Biden campaign is that President Donald Trump is an authoritarian fascist who must be stopped at all costs. That rhetoric led directly to President Trump's attempted assassination.
Spare me.
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, also said to be on Trump's VP shortlist, said right after the Democrats' rhetoric surrounding Republicans have put people's lives at risk. Quote, for years, Democrats and their allies in the media have recklessly stoked fears, calling President Trump and other conservatives threats to democracy. Their inflammatory rhetoric puts lives at risk.
So kind of like if a politician said, you got to fight like hell or you're not going to have a country anymore. Like that would be the kind of rhetoric that we're talking about?
Former presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, an ally of Trump who some had speculated to be among possible VP hopefuls, also blamed Biden right afterward. Quote, President Biden's ritual condemnations of political violence are insufficient. No amount of verbiage today changes the toxic national climate that led to this tragedy.
There has not been a more divisive national political figure than Donald Trump. If you're going to go off on anybody and their rhetoric, take a long, hard look in the mirror. And I really hope that he comes out a better man after surviving this.
Hopefully. At least one gunman fired into a birthday party being held in Birmingham, Alabama at a nightclub on Saturday night, killing at least 4 people and injuring at least 10. The shooting happened just after 11 p.m. on Saturday night on 27th Street North. One man was found fatally shot outside the nightclub on the sidewalk. 2 women were found dead inside the club, and another man was pronounced dead after being taken to a hospital. Here's Birmingham Police Chief Scott Thurman at a press conference yesterday talking about the violence that has to stop.
to combat this issue, to combat what has occurred in the last 24 hours, and to let everyone know this is unacceptable and that we will not tolerate this behavior any longer in our city. There are too many families who have been devastated and destroyed because of gun violence in our city.
With around 270,000 homes and businesses still without power yesterday after the landfall of Hurricane Beryl last Monday, there are plenty of hot people in Texas. But Governor Greg Abbott is hot in a different way. Abbott announced yesterday that he's requiring the Public Utility Commission of Texas to investigate why restoration of power has taken so long and what has to be done to make sure it moves faster next time. CenterPoint Energy has restored power to about 2 million customers since July 8th. Oh, and a tragedy in Arizona and a warning to any parents dealing with this hot weather. 37-year-old Christopher Schultz was arrested Friday on second-degree murder and child abuse charges in the death of his 2-year-old daughter. Schultz had left the sleeping child in her car seat with the engine running and the air conditioner on while the temperature reached as high as 109 degrees. When the child's mother reached the home later, she found the toddler in a vehicle that was no longer running and with no air conditioning. The girl was pronounced dead.
Like it ran out of gas or something?
I guess so. The girl was pronounced dead at a local hospital. According to a video obtained by police from nearby homes, he left his daughter in the car for around 3 hours. But please be careful with the heat. It's a reminder, I think. Well, the lake fire in Santa Barbara County, California, has burned more than 34,000 acres of land and remains just 16% contained. The wildfire, which has now been burning for 7 days, is the largest in California so far this year. 4 structures have been damaged and 4 reported injuries. About 400 residents are facing evacuation orders and 1,200 more are facing evacuation warning as the fire continues to spread. And that AT&T breach, well, it's leaving nearly all of its customers open to scams, Buzz. If you are one of the affected customers, here are some things you should know so you can protect yourself. The hackers have the call and text logs, and it makes it easier for them to scam you using personal relationships. If someone calls or texts you and asks you to do something, call them back to verify that it's actually them. Do not give out any financial or personal info unless you verify who you're communicating with. Be on guard about deepfakes. Know that hackers probably know your geolocation. What they're trying to get across is that...
Yeah, what could happen?
Well, people use their phone numbers quite often as a secondary authentication. So when you need to get security and stuff, you use your phone number. Joanna, can you help me explain this any better?
I think you did a pretty good job, Buzz. Where did we lose you?
I don't know that I'm lost yet.
Okay.
Okay,
should I be freaking out over this?
But what they're saying is if they have your phone number, they could call you asking for more information or could be doing like a reset attempt on your...
Hey, you need to go in and reset your password and tell us what it is.
No, just by you calling and picking up could do it.
What?
Yeah. That's what I was trying to explain to you. People use their phone number as a secondary authentication. So it'll call you or text you.
All right. Tell me if this helps protect me at all. Generally, I don't even pick up a call that's from an unknown number.
Yeah, that helps.
That does
Also,
help,
if there's a pause of like I'm hello, I won't say hello again.
Uh-huh.
If it's like 2 or 3 second pause, I'm in the phone call.
Why is that? You're like already suspicious of something.
Because it's obviously they don't have an infinite number of real humans. So whenever somebody picks up, they probably get a notification. It takes them a second or two to get a person on the line. At least they're selling something that I'm probably not, right?
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. If I pick up the phone and say
No, that's a
hello,
good tact.
you got to say hello right back or we're done.
Yeah, that's good strategy there.
All right.
Proud of you.
All right. Well, speaking of the Republican National Convention, an interesting guest will be showing up. Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley was not invited to attend the Republican National Convention as a speaker this week until she was. It was announced yesterday that Haley will speak at the convention tomorrow. The announcement of her appearance came less than 24 hours after the attempted assassination of her former rival for the Republican nomination, Donald Trump.
Yeah, I wonder how that changed the dynamic between those two, because other than Christie,
she was a very vocal.
Nikki Haley was a very vocal critic and said that Donald Trump was not fit to be a reelected president. So I don't know what she's going to say now at the RNC, or why they called to invite her when they did so late in the timeline.
All right. Well, California district attorneys have settled a civil case against Home Depot because the company violated California's gift card law. Buzz, you've always had a picadillo about this.
Yep.
According to the law, customers can redeem any gift card in cash if the value is less than $10. But the company is accused of just not doing it. Home Depot has been ordered to pay $750,000 for the violations and provide registers that dispense cash for gift cards with balances of less than $10.
Do gift cards expire generally?
No, not really.
Because I found like a $20 Outback gift card.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, Bloomin' Onion. Yeah.
But I don't know how old it is. I found it when I was cleaning out a drawer.
Don't have expiration dates.
Okay.
Even if the gift card looks different from the gift cards they have now, as I've learned.
Interesting. Well, election season is bringing light to the most concerning issue of the American people. It's inflation. Americans say inflation is a very serious problem. That's according to a new YouGov poll. The survey found that for Democrats, the most serious issue the country faces are gun violence and climate change. Nearly 2/3 of Americans say inflation is a very serious problem. 57 say corruption. 56 say drug abuse. 55 say homelessness. 54 say weakening of democracy. And another 54% say a shortage of affordable housing.
They didn't ask me, so put my pick in there give me 1 point. Restaurants that don't give you a menu and want you to scan a barcode on the table.
Oh my gosh!
The biggest problem facing America.
You would have gone insane. I went to the urgent care center yesterday. This would have driven you bonkers. I went to the urgent care, and I've been to this one before, and have already registered, and I've already done their online registration and all the rigmarole. And I go up to sign in, and she asks me to use my phone to scan a QR code right next to me to register. And I go, I'm in the system. And she says, we just switched or something last week. You have to do it again.
All right.
So I have to go through the QR code and then go online and redo my entire registration. That would have driven you insane.
I would have, yeah.
You would have left?
Yeah, you just left. You know what? I'm going to let nature take its course.
Give me something for the pain. Let me die.
No. The messed up part is I thought that was the only option I had. Another older lady walked in, and she's like, can I just have paper? And she's like, yeah, you can have paper.
Just ask for paper.
I should have.
And if they said, you scan it with your phone, I tell them I don't have my phone with me, even if it's right in my pocket. I'm just praying it doesn't ring while I'm telling them that.
All right, just a couple more stories. Officials at Yellowstone National Park fished out a car of a thermal geyser on Friday.
A car?
An entire car in one of the thermal geysers at Yellowstone.
Did somebody drive it in there?
In a press release,
Did they die?
Park Services said a car with 5 people inside inadvertently left the roadway and veered into the semi-centennial geyser on Thursday morning. All 5 people were able to exit the car and get out of the 105-degree geyser pool with non-life-threatening injuries. So they did get hurt. One day later, authorities closed the nearby road and lifted the car out of 9 feet of water. The cause of the accident remains under investigation, but thermal pools, they be right next to roads.
Have you ever heard the stories about, I guess it's Yellowstone, one of the national parks, they've got these pools that are so hot that sometimes there have been cases where somebody's pet, like their dog, jumped into the thing, and it just boils instantly. Yeah. And there have been some cases where the pet jumps in and the pet owner jumps in right after, and they both die because they're so hot. Have you ever heard of that before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Look it up. It's happened a few times, and people say, look, people who know say if your dog jumps in there, your dog is done. You're not going to be able to save it. So for God's sake, don't you jump in and get yourself killed.
Well, artificial intelligence has become a part of our everyday lives in all kinds of different ways, even our love lives. While some people are reluctant to embrace the technology, Buzz,
I feel like all my love has been artificial recently. For going on a 20-year stretch.
While some people are reluctant to embrace the technology, others are leaning into it, and a new survey reveals how Americans are using AI for help with dating and romance. According to the poll of 2,000 U.S. adults from Flirtini, half of the respondents have asked chatbots like ChatGPT for dating advice. 50%. And 55%.
God, you're in pretty bad shape if a computer knows more about how to date than you, a person who's been a human being your entire life.
Like pickup lines and like
here's my pickup
icebreakers.
Line. I go over to you, Joanna. You play the lady.
You don't have.
right.
Okay.
Hey, stud.
No. You don't say anything to me.
Okay, fine. Jesus.
I just walk up to you. Fat penguin.
Break the ice.
I just wanted to say something to break the
Fat
ice.
Penguin.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something to break the ice.
Oh, I get it.
Come on, you're going to give me the oldest joke in the book.
Buzz, don't lie. You don't go up to women.
Yeah, that's what we were all real concerned about. 55% have used AI to create messages to send to their love interest. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I may have done this before.
Really?
Yeah. Like if I'm texting somebody on Tinder.
Attention, attractive human. I want to assimilate with you.
You know ChatGPT's better than that.
Yeah, I guess it is. So what did yours say?
It just like reworded it a little bit. I didn't use it like honestly more than once. But 15% of people say they've got caught doing it by the person they've been messaging.
Is there something sneaky or underhanded about that?
I don't think so.
I mean, sounds like a Cyrano de Bergerac story to me. Remember the guy who was in love with Roxanne?
Yes.
Was not a good speaker, so he had Cyrano de Bergerac. It's just the AI is your Cyrano.
Huh. How romantic.
56% of people say they now trust AI more than actual human dating experts. Nearly 46% of people have used a chatbot to practice flirting. 40% admit they've used it to improve their sexting skills.
Let's see.
You can sext with ChatGPT.
Give me some sexting tips.
The results from AI aren't always helpful, as 32% have experienced negative consequences.
Joanna's going to type in, give me some sexting advice.
I wonder how dirty Joanna is.
Here are some general tips for sexting. Thank you, ChatGPT.
That was well timed, wasn't it?
That was very well timed.
How about a break?
Oh yes, we should.
Yeah,
and then we'll continue on. I feel like you're getting close to the end of the news.
I just got one story left.
Oh, well, knock it out then. Go ahead.
All right. This is for all the parents out there. Is screen time one of the biggest things you and your kids disagree about? Well, if you're frustrated because you feel like you're always hounding your children to get off their screens, you're not alone. Sometimes it may feel like it would just be easier to let them spend 24/7 staring at their phones, tablets, computers, more than trying to get them to stop. But new research says don't give up the fight. According to a new study, limiting kids' entertainment screen time to just 3 hours a week can lead to significant improvements in their mental health and behavior. And it only takes about 2 weeks to see the benefit.
Yeah. Three hours a week, you're about to go to war with your kids. If you're like, you're only going to be, right? Would your nephews freak out if it was like you could only have 3 hours of screen time?
I'm so glad you asked that, because this new puppy has put all of us to put our phone down and pay attention. And I have seen a lot of like changes in my nephews now.
Really?
They're positive. Like they're like, let's go take her for a walk. Let's go take her here.
Oh, good. Maybe get a puppy.
Get a puppy.
This is just screen time for fun, not any time they need to be on screens for school or homework.
Does it include television?
Yes.
Because that is a screen.
God.
Any screen for fun.
I'm a
dude, I watch
television.
I watch like 10 hours of TV a day, probably.
I remember in when I was younger, there was no internet. TV was the thing.
Oh, seriously. After just 14 days of reduced screen time, those kids had a decrease in behavioral difficulties and improvements in emotional well-being. This shows that even a short period of reduced screen time can have measurable benefits for kids' mental health.
They were starting this way back then also in like the 90s, because I remember Nickelodeon used to do this thing, like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, and they would do a thing where they were like, don't watch TV, go outside today. And it was like Nickelodeon's Day of Play or something. And they wouldn't show anything for like a few hours.
Oh, would your mom get mad at you for watching too much TV?
Yeah.
My mom would call it the idiot box.
That is going to rot your brain.
Oh, yeah.
If you sit too close, it's going to ruin your eyes.
And I was like, guess what, woman? I'm already wearing glasses.
We just got an app chat message. Buzz should have said Cyrano de Borgerac.
Because it's the Borg and it's going to be a sentence.
Okay. With the news, I'm Nico.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We got a lot more of the show on the way right after this.
Music news, concert updates, song and album factoids, and of course, nothing but El Paso's best rock.
All NCUA or any other not credit union guaranteed, not credit union deposits or obligations may lose value.
Live from the KLAQ studios, the Buzz Adams Morning Show. Courtesy of Glasheen, Vyas, and Inderman Personal Injury Lawyers at GVILaw.com.
All right, I think we have time to take a call or two and take a look at the Mo Show calendar. We got another break this hour, Joanna?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We'll get to that.
Oh, my God. Is anybody watching House of the Dragon? Game of Thrones?
I'm not.
Oh, my God. It is amazing. Like, it's as good as Game of Thrones was that first couple seasons.
When it was good. When
yeah,
it was
the first
really
couple
good.
seasons, yeah.
Okay. How many seasons are out of Game of Thrones already? 2 or 3?
Of the House of the Dragon? 2. The House of the Dragon one. But in the episode before last, they had dragons fighting over a battlefield, and the CGI was great, and it really made it look horrifying. People on the ground burning, like just on fire, people's armor melting into themselves.
Cats and dogs living
together. It was like a spectacle. It was really cool to see. So I highly recommend Game of Thrones.
God, you know,
House of the Dragon.
I think I got a little fatigued after watching all of Game of Thrones. And I think I also got fatigued from all the Hobbit movies that I don't want to watch the Hobbit TV series. Also, the part I tried to watch, the first episode, was just really, it seemed boring. The Lord of the Rings series that they're doing.
You thought that about all of them. You thought House of the Dragon was too boring. I tried
I'm
to
a little burned out on some of these.
I tried to make you watch these. This was like, what? Like we weren't in, like post-pandemic, a little post-pandemic.
Yeah. House of Dragons was after the pandemic. So I guess we got a letter from corporate giving us some general directions on how to talk about the assassination attempt over
You're
the
gonna
weekend.
bring this up?
Well, I just realized after reading it that I've broken, not all of
really
them,
have.
but I've broken some of what they were
Notice
saying.
how I didn't even bring that up this morning because I knew you weren't even going to pay attention to it.
What's that, the letter?
Mm-hmm.
When did this come in? Had to have been since Saturday,
Yesterday,
right?
probably?
Oh, it was yesterday, yeah.
Okay. Let me see which ones. I've broken this one for sure. Don't ask listeners how they feel about this, and definitely don't take phone calls.
And that is why I asked, hey, how do you want to deal with phone calls?
But why? People are going to be talking about this over the water cooler at work. They're going to be talking about it with their family. Why would I take phone calls? Now, I'm not going to take any phone calls that make crazy allegations.
Yeah, I do think just saying plain old don't take phone calls was not the right call.
Right. So that was their thing. Definitely don't take phone calls. Well, I've already scuttled that one. Listeners could very easily make this about politics, which is a no-win. Don't let them take you there. Ditto any commentary from you. You want to be careful listeners don't misconstrue any of that.
I like the very bottom. Some guess that might make sense.
A child psychologist to talk about how to have this conversation with kids. That always seems like a safety valve. It's like we're going to talk about the kids as a acceptable way to talk about this event. You might only need to prepare half a show and rerun those segments later. We've been doing that for years. That's a secret ingredient. They also say it's very important to know your stuff. Sometimes it's easy to take what's on social media as gospel. Be prepared and know what you're sharing is accurate. This is one part of my job that I think I'm very, very good at. Like I definitely double, triple, quadruple check to make sure that the information I have. That's why it's so hard to respond to something when somebody brings up some allegation that I've never heard of before. It's like, well, I haven't even heard this one. I just hear you saying it. I don't know if it's true or not. Yeah. All right. So I kind of screwed that up. I guess we stick with taking the phone calls. There have been some, listen, if you're not hearing your phone calls, it's because you are saying these wildly inappropriate things on one side or the other.
We didn't get to it because there's just a lot.
Yeah, but there are definitely some where it's just like, that's the kind of loose talk and the kind of stuff that's just going to rile people up more. We'll hear from Donald Trump this week at the RNC. I am hoping that he gives a message of unity and decreases any chance of further violence. That is what a responsible person would do, and I'm certainly hoping that that's what he does at the RNC this week.
What's up, Mo Show? It's ODG. Nico, you better show up today on Monday. You better show up Monday with the news.
Okay.
With what happened over the weekend. And publish it on demand, Nico, you idiot. How hard is that? Just publish it.
Did we miss on demand?
Oh man, I should have done that. That's my bad. I forgot.
I got him on Friday. I was able to do both on Friday. So Thursdays wasn't out on Thursday. I put him up on
ODG.
That's also my bad. I could have done it. Nico was out.
No worries.
ODG is one of our most loyal listeners, but he's in Odessa,
so that's how he
only hears it. Right, he can't hear us on the radio. Do we stream the show live?
Yeah.
No.
On the app.
On the app, yeah.
On the app.
Yeah, get the app, ODG.
Yeah.
He could easily, he doesn't need
You could be listening right now.
Maybe he's at work.
Trump and Biden should do a press conference together to bring down the temperature, and remind us that we're all human and have more in common with each other than we have differences.
Listen, my fingers are always a little crossed when ODG calls in, but so far this has been right on the money, I feel
that
like.
Was
good,
very nice,
good call, ODG.
Yeah.
That's really great. I'll play the rest of the call, but I guess on Saturday, Joe Biden talked to Donald Trump on the phone, and the White House reports that it was a cordial, brief, but respectful conversation between the two candidates.
Oh, that's good.
To use our words and not violence, man.
I'm with you, ODG.
And how is that shooter allowed to go up to a roof for any rally held by any politician?
These are legitimate questions. How did it happen that this 20-year-old kid was able to take a gun on top of a building that was about a football field and a half away?
Well, by now we have reports from many people saying that it was a free-for-all on the outside. It was the perimeter of the rally. It wasn't.
That's not a very big. I mean, a football field is not. You can picture it. It's from
it seems super far
to the street outside. It does not seem super far. That seems really, really close.
That's not 100 yards. It's probably much farther than that.
From me to the middle of the
to Caperton, all the way to Caperton, probably.
No, that's more like that's about the distance. That's almost 130 yards. Look, I play golf. I'm really good at translating things into yardage. That would be no more than a wedge for me to hit the Caperton building over there.
We're gonna take a ruler right now.
You could not hit that Caperton building
with a golf shot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm inside a building.
No,
so
I'm
if I were
saying-
just standing here,
Oh my God, we should try that.
I would nail that 5 times out of 5, dude.
Over there?
All the way to that?
Yeah. And I'd probably do it with a pitching wedge or an easy 9, depends on the wind.
You're an easy 9.
Thank you.
How are people not stationed at every single roof?
There needs to be an investigation. President Biden has said there's going to be an independent investigation. Mike Johnson says there's going to be a congressional investigation. I am sure that the police departments and Secret Service are doing internal reviews of how this happened. So I think this is completely a legitimate concern.
You know, that's not a conspiracy theory.
No,
that's just a common sense question. Say it was a rally for Biden. How is every single roof not covered by a Secret Service agent?
No, I got it. And once the shooting started, apparently they had Secret Service snipers who took down the gunman almost immediately. But you've got people being interviewed that were on the scene saying, we were trying to tell police there's a guy on the roof and we can see that he has a gun. Anyway, we've got to take a break here.
We have another neckline call, and I just want to mention that 5 Points guy messaged us on the app chat. He says, does your corporate email mention prohibited Donald Trump voice AI calls? Because I spent a good chunk of change on this new voice AI app and only got to use it once. Dude, do not spend any more money on these.
I keep telling him to stop. We don't need him to spend money on it.
No, I like it. If he wants to spend money on it, dude, I'll go in with you.
great
Most of
and
his are
all,
really
yeah.
good. The Biden, the AI Biden and the AI Trump are both really, really good.
They're great, but I also don't want him to be like,
Yeah,
I'm
like-
spending all this money on this.
Yeah, don't go out of, food. Don't run out of food.
I mean, it's important enough to me that I might chip in a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, the on demand will definitely be published today. We'll be back on track doing the after buzz on Tuesday and Thursday. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We've got the entire 9 o'clock hour ahead of us and more of the Buzz Adams Morning Show, including Joanna's social engagement question from Friday. We're going to talk about that. Who is a celebrity that hasn't gotten in trouble, but you're suspicious of them anyway?
That's a little sus.
Yeah. Who's a celebrity that you've always been just a little sus about?
I don't like that Buzz and I were mentioned in the comments on your social.
were?
I saw that you were. I didn't see that I was.
Oh, yeah, you were.
Okay. All right. You got that on our Facebook page, right? Is that the KLAQ or the Buzz Adams
That's the
Facebook?
official KLAQ.
Official
Buzz Adams one
KLAQ.
doesn't
Check it
have
out. But we'll give you some of the names that have been coming up in these lists of kind of sus celebrities. More of the Buzz Adams Morning Show is on the way right after this.
The Buzz Adams Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 5.
If you drive over the speed limit, that's beyond repair. One way or another, speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Broadcasting in El Paso to El Paso. The Buzz Adams Morning Show on 95.5 KLAQ.
What celebrities do you find a little sus?
Joanna, after what she just told us.
Well, I asked her to.
I
Earlier,
know, which
Joanna
I
had.
think is an HR thing. Never asked me that.
My boss asked me to sext with ChatGPT.
Not my boss.
Well, you said on the air that you were going to ask ChatGPT for sexting
The way you played
advice.
it out was much better, so I didn't have to ask ChatGPT.
Did it come back with any good thing? See, I just want to see what it said. So if you,
now
Nico
I've got
had a
it.
story about people using ChatGPT or AI to
practice sexting.
So what did it suggest?
So first and foremost, it tells you communication and consent is both key. Make sure that both parties are comfortable and willing to participate.
You know what? Sage advice. Make sure that you're not sexting somebody who does not appreciate being sexted.
Here's one.
Yeah, this is good.
Timing and context. Start slowly. Begin with suggestive messages and gauge the response.
Hey, you want to get together and have some fun later?
What? That sounds awful.
Language and tone. Be descriptive. Use vivid language to paint a picture.
Vivid language.
Emojis can enhance the conversation, but don't overdo it.
Eggplant. Peach.
Be creative. Try different scenarios or fantasies to keep things exciting and maintain a sense of humor.
Okay. All right.
You can tell Buzz has never done that before.
Write these down.
I've never sexted. I've never had
sexted?
phone sex or anything like that.
But has anyone tried to sext with you?
I've had a feeling before that some people, somebody I was dating might have been like, hey, let's, you know what? I'm not even comfortable with the conversation. But I was going to see what came up.
And of course, as always, respect your partner's comfort levels and boundaries.
Okay, now, Joanna, I want you to sext with ChatGPT.
No.
Ask it how. Can you sext with me?
Yeah.
I don't want to ask that.
I just did. I asked mine.
You asked
yeah. Can I sext with you? I'm here to provide information and answer questions in a professional and respectful manner. If you have any questions or need assistance with something specific, feel free to ask. Want to rub? Come on.
By following these tips, you can ensure a positive and enjoyable sexting experience for both you and your partner.
Throbbing and on
okay,
fire.
No.
Tumescent.
Wiener.
Joanna, can you
What?
Can you bring up the sus celebrities list that you posted on our Facebook
That I posted.
and how people responded to
Okay,
it? Yeah.
give me a minute.
Apparently, I just violated its content usage policy.
Oh, no. You creeped out an AI.
Because of your tumescent member.
Did you say you're tumescent member?
Wow.
That is some good vocabulary.
No. That's because that's from a dirty novel already. I know you've read something from before.
Of course.
You read smut.
I do read a lot of smut.
I have to look up tumescent now, just because.
So there's a thread online where people are talking about good celebrities.
Like the ones that don't have bad reputations or anything like that.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves
was known as a good celebrity, right?
Yeah. But I don't think anybody put him here.
But
But
yeah, no.
celebrities that just give you a suspicious vibe.
You're just kind of sus about them.
I got to tell you, for the longest time, I just could not figure out what Kevin Spacey's deal was, man. I mean, very fine act.
He was always sus.
But you always kind of had like this feeling. You were like,
Yeah. Ellen DeGeneres kind of started this because she said that she's quitting show business after this last comedy tour. There's a thread online about people talking about other good celebrities who they are suspicious of. Most of these are just vibes, no actual proof.
R. Kelly? Real sus.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
In prison, in fact, I think. So let me give you an example of what some of the people online said. Then, Joanna, you can share from our Facebook
yes.
social engagement question. Somebody said Rachel Ray. Some says she seems fake.
One, yeah.
One person said she might be a terrible person, but at least she can cook. Is she still on TV frequently? I don't see Rachel Ray much anymore.
I don't have cable anymore, so I don't get the Food Network or anything.
You get tumescent.
About Ryan Seacrest. You ready for Ryan Seacrest? You don't know what the word tumescence means?
Now I do.
One person said about Ryan Seacrest, he has a well in his basement and a yard full of buried bones. I can feel it.
Yeah, like Ryan Seacrest just gives me this feeling of like, first of all, I feel like he's doing too much.
Yeah.
Why is Ryan Seacrest everywhere?
Why would anybody's fingers need to be in that many pies, so to speak?
Quentin Tarantino.
Listen.
That one's one that's already sus. from the
Yeah, I think
beginning.
he's pretty sus. Like,
him and his foot fetish.
He's not known as a good celebrity.
the fact that he just loves the N-word so much. And you can look online. He was doing a Q&A with Samuel L. Jackson, and it was a show that was, most of the audience was black and the moderators were black. And Quentin Tarantino was doing that thing you accuse me of doing anytime there's somebody who's country that I mimic speech pat. It was Quentin Tarantino totally doing an African-American dialect on this show. It's just, I think he's already sus.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
He was
It's those
tangentially
eyebrows,
involved
dude.
with that Roman Polanski thing. So when Roman Polanski committed a sex act with a 13-year-old, it was in Jack Nicholson's hot tub, although I don't think he was there at the time. Also,
He's
didn't
got
he
these
go
eyebrows like this, pointy.
like that? You ever
Yeah.
danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? There was a road rage incident in the 90s, I want to say, where he took a golf club to somebody's car that he got So I don't know that he's 100% squeaky clean.
Right.
Adam Levine.
Okay, from Maroon 5?
Yep.
The dude that was texting some model and was like, that body is outrageous or something like that.
Did he do that?
Yes.
Yeah, he should use ChatGPT to sext.
Yeah, because he's not good at it.
Some people believe he may have sold his soul to the devil for some of his fame. And a lot of people are very critical about his tattoos. Saying it looks like he just had them copy the sample sheet that they have up in a tattoo
So
shop.
I'll take pages 5, 6, and 7.
Mm-hmm. Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's one. That's a good example.
That's a pair of serial killers.
One
you know
person
those houses
said
they built?
One person said on their show once, Chip found a dead old cockroach and put it in his mouth to be funny. That's all the evidence I need.
Like they just have a TV show where they build houses, but really they're burying their bodies.
Right. That's why they're building so many,
many
houses.
Do they build houses or reno houses?
Reno. Build.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
I'm chiming in. Rachel Ray, I don't like her. I mean, she seems like a nice person, but she can't cook for nothing no more. She just makes up stuff. And if you pay attention on every episode, you never catch her washing her hands before she cooks. Goes for it. So, I'll let you know about that. Laters.
Oh. See, I didn't even know she still had a show. Which is probably like the most insulting thing I could say.
Hey, what's up, morning show? How you guys doing? You guys are on the topic of what celebrities we find suspect or like sus.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard Buzz right now mention Rachel Ray, and it reminded me of this article that I read quite a while back. Don't remember the name or where I read the article from. I don't know if it was like internet or magazine. I really don't remember. But one of the things I read about this interview with Rachel Ray is she's kind of a freak. She likes to have sex in public.
What?
Oh,
that's what I read in the article. That Rachel Ray admitted that she likes to have sex in public. Go figure, right? You know, she can do that, but she can't make a decent menudo. All right, you guys have a good morning.
How dare you
now
say
I'm Googling that
about Rachel Ray's menudo?
it doesn't look great.
Let's see who else they got. Jimmy Fallon.
That's the one that I put in the engagement question. Like, I'll go first. Jimmy Fallon.
All right, let me hear your suspicions about Jimmy Fallon.
Okay, so he seems like so nice when he has guests on. He's always making them laugh.
The smile looks fake.
But it kind of does look a little forced,
He
right?
forces the laughter, and when he was on Saturday Night Live, he would break, but it seemed very contrived.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Sometimes he would break in
exactly.
a scene because everybody was what's breaking, Nico?
When you're pulled out of what you're acting in and you start to laugh.
Like when Heidi Gardner did it with the Beavis and Butthead with Ryan Gosling, hilarious. That was
Right.
great. Every time Fallon seemed to do it, seemed very self-serving and fake.
Improv works best when the actors don't acknowledge what's going on as being funny sometimes.
Mm-hmm. But sometimes when somebody breaks, it can be
hilarious.
Genuinely the funniest thing.
Right.
I got one for you, and I don't know the guy's name. The director of Poor Things and Kinds of Kindness.
Yorgos Lanthimos?
Yes, I am suspicious about Yorgos Lanthimos. I think that the only reason he makes movies is to make Emma Stone do things in movies that she would never consider if it were anybody else. I mean, there is a graphic 4-person sex scene in Kinds of Kindness. And what was the one where she's like the baby? Like a hot
Poor
baby?
Things.
Poor Things. Poor Things.
I didn't even finish that.
Yeah. The whole thing was kind of, it's like, this woman has the brain of a baby, but a smoking hot body. So let's get on it.
Okay, can I say who I find very sus?
Yes, who do you find sus?
The very successful, nice celebrities. I think The Rock is super sus.
And that is what a lot of people said
Why?
in those comments.
Because they're who can be that busy and organized and talented and efficient and not be somehow like eating people in their basement. Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, you guys come off as too awesome, just too cool, too amazing.
Right.
Maybe they're really amazing. Maybe they're just really
That's
cool
suspicious to me. Anybody that amazing.
What has The Rock done to raise your suspicion?
Hey, he's awesome.
He's just too awesome.
He's so awesome.
Nobody can be that good.
Nobody can be that good.
You know what celebrity gives, I think, is sus? And I've thought this for a long time. I don't understand why he's famous. He's a comedian, apparently. I don't think he's funny.
Okay.
I think he's annoying. And he gives off these strong, sold my soul to the devil vibes. His name is Kevin Hart.
Oh.
Did you think it was going to be you?
Yeah.
People are already sus about you, my dude.
There's no way Nico sold his soul to the devil, because usually in that kind of deal, you become a huge success. And that hasn't happened.
Yet.
Who else do people say on our Facebook chat?
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, yeah.
The queen of goop.
Her in a goop.
You know, her product line is all a bunch of pseudoscience nonsense, but I think she might be a victim of it as much as her customers are, although she's the one who's making tens of millions of dollars off of it.
Hey, why did you say people already think I'm sus?
Look at you.
Oh, yeah, that's true. What did they say in the comment section?
Yeah. Another one is Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
And Maria says, probably some skeletons in that closet.
I don't see that.
Nico at Jimmy.
Yeah. Just any explanation of that?
Someone says sketchy, but not all that bright.
I know you guys are going to hate me for this one, but I believe Gabriel Iglesias is a sus. Started out really smooth and cool guy. After a while, he just changed. I mean, you guys see it.
With Gabriel?
With Gabriel.
I don't know. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen Gabriel in person. I mean, we definitely...
Well, you have your own issues with him. That's
I don't
separate.
have an issue with him at all.
He has his own issues with you.
He is...
you know the thing, people, once they reach a certain level of success, their life becomes so scrutinized, and I think they become...
Oh, for sure.
They get put on such a pedestal that it's easy to want to see those people knocked off of it. I think Gabriel has had problems with eating and his health. But I have a lot of comic friends who are right at that level where they're like getting real big now, but not, of course, not as big as Gabriel Iglesias. And I've seen several pictures in the last, I would say, 4 weeks of him putting my friends up on his stages, like letting them open at these stadiums and stuff.
And are you like, Buzz Adams, you ruined this for me?
Oh, I could be there.
And then he'll be like, oh, you work with Buzz?
Right. No, I would never mention that.
Shut up. all the stuff between Gabriel and I I see it as kind of a misunderstanding. Also, that Gabriel is just a very sensitive. He's just a very sensitive guy. He's very tender-hearted. You know what I mean?
I do.
He still tells the stories
but to give,
about me on stage.
To give the younger comedians an opportunity to open for him at stadiums is something that, like, George Lopez doesn't do. You know, it's something that
I was going to ask you, would it even be fair to put George Lopez on a list of good celebrities?
No,
because he's
an a-hole celebrity.
Look, he drank so much his liver gave out.
He got his
kidney.
wife.
So he got it. Was his kidney, right? Or liver?
Or kidney.
I think it was a kidney.
So he got a transplant from his wife, and then I saw him at the Plaza Theater, the Abraham Chavez Theater, a few years ago. He's calling her a bitch and all this. It's like, whatever you've gone through, you got her kidney
If I heard
inside
that, I'd be like,
your body.
give me my kidney back.
Yeah.
What's the return policy?
Any others, Joanna, you want to highlight? We got to take a break.
In our app chat, somebody says, sus or not, Rachel Ray can get it.
What, like she's hot?
Yeah, she is. And somebody else says, people eating pork chops out of cup holders seem sus to me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Little sus.
I just carried a steak around with me for like an hour yesterday, just taking bites off from time to time. Just
like a steak lollipop?
Just like in my hand, a steak. I have to say I did a really good job on this one.
Not enough to want to sit down and enjoy it.
Well, it wasn't right off the grill. It had been off the grill for a while.
Were you sitting down still? Or were you walking
Moving
around
doing stuff, driving, just taking the steak with me wherever I go? That's all.
Buzz Adams.
All right.
Little sus.
Fine. Let's take a break. We'll come back with more of the Buzz Adams Morning Show on the way right after this.
Hey, it's Daniel Paulus. I'll be along starting at 3 with everything from Led Zeppelin to Soundgarden.
Can't ruin those. Off Clean Feel. Prevention is the best protection from mosquitoes.
Listen, what else you got to do in the morning?
Wake up, El Paso.
Good morning show.
Buzz Adams is back. 95.5 KLAQ.
Okay, let's hit it.
Hey, get ready to join us for the Watermelon Party this Saturday. It's the first year that we're doing the Watermelon Party. And we have tickets to give away all week. Why don't we let go a pair of tickets right now, Joanna? And I might even do another pair before the end of the show.
Sweet.
You get to ride all the rides. It's like a Western Playland admission, same ticket price as Western Playland on any other Saturday. But we got watermelons to eat, watermelon drinks, watermelon games. We're going to be taking on the crew from KISS. Watermelon Sugar.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be food trucks, music. The Zodiacs and Jane's on Fire are going to be performing. And at the end of the evening at 10 o'clock, a fireworks show courtesy of Tea2Go Tea and Energy. Everything you need to know about the first ever KLAQ Watermelon Party at Western Playland is at KLAQ.com and on the KLAQ mobile app. Let's have caller number 10. We'll give you a pair of tickets to Saturday's Watermelon Festival at Western Playland. Here's the telephone number to use. It's 915-910-4995. That's 915-910-4995. We'll give Joanna a second or two to get us a winner.
Is it true? So in radio, they used to have a cough button. If you have to cough, you just press.
That's what the red button is.
What red button?
There should be a red button. Look around. There's a red button over there. It's your cough button.
I don't have a cough button.
Huh.
I don't think he does. I have one.
You do?
Yeah, look.
Oh, she's making. Isn't. I thought we put a cough button on all these microphones.
No, I just have to turn it off.
Okay. Well, do that then. Why did you come up with that information?
Because I think it's interesting that the problem of coughing on air or on radio was an issue they needed to fix and make a button for.
Radio used to be, you never wanted to make a mistake. You never wanted to stumble on a word or sneeze or
I can't understand that.
And now the things that we let people get away with on the air. You know. Before we get to your topic, what is your topic today?
All right. My thing is red flags that say you're getting old. It's actually a list of things older people are saying they're getting teased about.
Getting teased about.
Yeah.
All right. As soon as Joanna joins us, I just want to mention this in the El Paso Times today front page. City council members seek vote on multi-purpose center. This is the multi-purpose center that was approved in 2012 along with the ballpark.
3 of the city council members have already said.
Kennedy, who's running for mayor, Fierro, and Canales have proposed that El Paso voters get to vote on whether the project should even go on.
No, I thought they called for, they think it should be completely erased.
They think the voters should have a say, which I believe would lead to it overwhelmingly. But I have said the same thing for at least 5 years, is like, hey, man, can
we just vote on this again?
It's been, 8-9 years since this thing was approved, and they haven't broken ground. Let's just re-vote. Because that was the thing. It was rushed.
When did it happen?
2012. It was the same quality of life bond.
Buzz, that's 12 years ago.
No, but I was saying 5 years ago is when I started saying. You see what I'm saying?
No, but you were saying it's been 8 or 9 years. It's been 12 years.
But when I first started saying, let's re-vote, I was told, well, they can't because the voters already approved it. There's no way to undo it. Canales says in 2024, there is nowhere near the amount of funding required to deliver an arena. He added, a project of that scale would cost something in the range of $400 to $500 million, not the $128 million remaining in unsold bonds. The story goes on to say the handling of the arena project is one of City Hall's biggest blunders. We got the baseball. I think we've just celebrated 10 years of Chihuahua's baseball. It's like they wanted to get that passed, and they tacked on the downtown arena, and we've been told that we're just stuck with it. But now you got at least 3 people on city council who are saying, let's just redo the vote. You don't even have enough money to build anything like what you want, so let's just vote on it.
Just redo it.
Joanna, we get a winner there. Caller number 10.
We did, Santiago.
All right, Santiago. We'll see you Saturday. Bring your appetite. If not for watermelon, we'll have a lot of food trucks there, too. All right, Nico. What do you mean red flags?
All right. So as people age, they might find themselves developing habits or preferences that the younger generations might find amusing or peculiar.
I love those commercials where it's the guy teaching 30 millennials how not to become their parents.
Yeah, they're great.
My favorite.
A recent Reddit thread highlights some of these old people things that older adults get teased about, and it's usually in good humor. These habits, which range from practical choices to nostalgic behaviors and products, provide a glimpse into the lives of older adults who are willing to embrace their quirks with a sense of humor. Here are some of the best examples for things. Well, why don't you tell me what you guys think older people get teased about?
General forgetfulness, and I can remember... like my dad ended up having, I don't want to turn this into a heavy thing, but he ended up having Alzheimer's and Parkinson. His mother had Alzheimer's. And there was one time years before he, that it got really bad, that we were playing golf and we finished up on a hole and we're walking off the green and he's carrying the flag with him, the flag that's supposed to go back in the hole. And I think my grandmother had passed away after having Alzheimer's for a number of years. And I remember that was a real red flag. But again, I don't think you're going, why don't you do this?
Aww.
Tell me, I know it's sad, right?
Aw.
Oh, Buzz.
Well, that's kind of hilarious, though.
Right.
He was literally walking with a red flag.
Yeah, he is walking with the red flag. How about massive font size on their phones? Anytime I use my dad's...
Or when they open up a video and the volume is so loud, everyone in the doctor's office can hear it, Mom.
Is this your mom thing?
Yes.
Okay, because I just made fun of my dad for this the other day.
Oh, Mom.
Do this. 1 ding means that you've witnessed it with somebody. 2 dings means you think I do it.
Okay. Massive font size on my phone. That's my dad. And he does this thing where he will get a phone call and he has like these annoying ringers for whoever they are. And they're individualized for everybody.
He assigns a different rate.
And they're just annoying and they're loud. And then it'll go off and he'll just bring up the phone and stare at the name and it's going off. And
he doesn't personalize them. Like if he has a friend named Barbara, it doesn't play Barbara Ann by the Beach Boys.
But my point isn't the song choices. My point is that he just thinks it's appropriate to hold it up and let it continue ringing while he looks at whether he wants to answer the phone or not.
My mom does that, and my mom's ringtone.
Yeah, that's probably what he's doing. Do I want to take this call right now?
Yeah, but that's annoying because you can mute the phone.
Mom, shoshola.
You can mute. You know why Buzz doesn't get? He does it.
It's him.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, he doesn't. His phone's always on silent. Anyways, but yeah, my dad just lets a doctor's office. Same thing. An entirely quiet doctor's office, and now it's going. And then you just look at it. I'm like, Dad.
They know it can just vibrate, right? And they can just put it in their pocket and it'll vibrate.
But then I don't get to hear the ringer, and maybe everybody else likes to hear it too.
Well, I've got news for you, Mom. You don't hear the ringer now. All I hear down the hall is, "Oh, my ex."
Double. That's her ringtone.
That's her
for everybody.
For everybody.
Double spaces after periods or indenting.
Ding ding, ding ding.
You indent a paragraph. I'm sorry. I don't know. We didn't vote on this.
Not on WordPress.
Congress didn't pass a law.
Definitely not on WordPress.
Yeah, right. Anytime I write an article that's indented, Nico complains because he has to go back and
I appreciate
fix
it, though. When I would do his articles, I appreciated that. I'd be like, oh, Buzz is still following.
And
the
you double space after a period.
You do not double space after a
But you
period.
don't need to do that anymore, honey.
My coworkers don't get it.
Dad.
And my coworkers don't get it, and my boss had to tell them that it's because they learned on typewriters.
Whether it's a typewriter or a phone or a computer, it doesn't matter.
On a computer, you don't need the double space after a period. Because
what's the difference between a computer keyboard, I mean, really, and a typewriter?
I mean,
one's mechanical.
A lot of differences.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Anyway, I indent paragraphs. I will
appreciate
indent
that.
paragraphs
I think that's cute.
till the day I die.
At work, I have had to learn to stop using media references because they're all so old, no one gets them.
We got a lot of listeners who say, hey, I really appreciate your references.
Your ancient
to
references.
MASH or whatever.
I remember my grandmother saying the world leaves you behind when you get old.
Wait, that's a comment somebody made?
That's on top of the. That's just on top of the media references. I get endless crap for driving like a little old lady by
Nico.
family.
That's Nico. Nico drives like a little old lady, not from Pasadena.
He's a very cautious driver.
Yeah,
to the point where it's like, pull over. I'm driving. You're going too slow.
I say they should teach everybody to drive like they have drugs on them. Checking the weather app multiple times a day.
I don't do that.
Yeah, you do.
I check the weather because I do a radio show and I let people. It's going to be around 100 this week, guys. That's why I check the weather app. That doesn't count. Two more.
The sounds that escape my body, especially when I'm getting up from a sitting position, the groan, the grunt, the joints popping.
Oh no!
How about just like random gurgling from your throat?
Okay,
or
this
diaphragm.
Have you seen the thing that Buzz does where he breathes all hard, all of a sudden you go and you think it's like what would have happened in sleep apnea, but he's awake.
I forget to breathe sometimes.
I remember you said you had a girlfriend who was like, I worry about you.
And finally,
but as far as the like weird noises coming up during the Biden-Trump debate a couple of weeks ago, they analyzed this. It sounded like one of the candidates farted, but they talked to like an ENT and some different experts, and they said it's probably like a throat gurgle that came out of probably Trump because Biden's microphone was muted. But anyway,
and finally, I carry cash. Apparently, that labels you as a dinosaur.
Ding ding.
It also labels you as the sucker who leaves the tip every time because all your slacker millennial coworkers. Yep, exactly.
It's the Hollywood Cheese Man. It's the Hollywood Cheese Man. Joanna, tell us more.
And here is Joanna Barbo with today's Hollywood news. Good morning, Joanna.
Oh, good morning. The Daily Show had made plans to head to Milwaukee to do the show on the ground at the Republican National Convention. But with the events of this past weekend, those plans have now changed. Comedy Central has now said the show will be taking place from its home in New York City. Monday's broadcast of the show, typically hosted by Jon Stewart, will not air, and the late night series will pick up Tuesday through Thursday. Despite how it may appear, Pat Sajak is not unretiring. Buzz, you mentioned this last week. He's coming back.
I said that on Friday. He's coming back.
He will be hosting Celebrity Wheel of Fortune.
Wow. What do Tom Brady and Pat Sajak have in common?
That dude's everywhere. I thought he was going to be working in Hawaii. Well, to be clear, sources with direct knowledge say that it was always part of Pat's succession plan to do one last season of Celebrity Wheel of Fortune as he turned over the reins for Wheel of Fortune to Ryan Seacrest. The plan hasn't changed, and Pat will be joining filming of Celebrity Wheel of Fortune this summer, with the episodes airing in October. Can you imagine? Retiring, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to go back to work.
I can.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, we watched the Patriots play.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. After much delay, HBO has announced that production on Euphoria Season 3 will finally begin in January of 2025. Better yet, the entire principal cast will be returning. HBO previously pushed back production on the new season in March following a report that it had been scrapped entirely. It was also held up due to last summer's writers and actors strike, as well as the burgeoning popularity of actors Sydney Sweeney and Jacob Elordi. Creator Sam Levinson will return as executive producer and director, with cast members Zendaya, Sydney Sweeney, Jacob Elordi, Hunter Schafer, Storm Reed, Alexa Demi, and Eric Dane all coming back as well.
What's this show called?
Euphoria.
Yeah, I've never seen an episode of it.
With Zendaya, never.
It's all about teens and sex and drugs.
It really is about teens and sex and drugs, yeah. It will freak out some parents, probably. Watch it, though. It is good.
Yeah, because you have a kid.
Unfortunately, breakout star Angus Cloud will not return. He died at the age of 25 last year.
From drugs?
I think it was suicide.
Ooh.
No word on how they will handle his character in the show. And finally, death came in threes to Hollywood over the weekend. First up was sexpert Dr. Ruth, who died in her home in New York on Friday. She was 96 years old. Dr. Ruth became a media icon in the 80s thanks to her frank and open discourse about sex.
I don't know if you're going to play it or if you want me to or anything, but I've got a little bit of audio of each of our passed away celebrities. So here's
Dr. Ruth.
Here she is in 2012 discussing the popularity of 50 Shades of Grey, which was a runaway hit in 2012.
This book, what it will do is it actually will arouse a woman. And I would say to women all over the world, read it, use it in your own mind, and then spin off your own fantasies.
Okay.
Aroused.
Your own fantasies.
It will get you aroused.
How cute.
Did she fight? Is she the one that fought for Israel?
Yes.
She was a member, as is a requirement for all citizens. She was a member of the IDF in her youth. She was a sniper.
Dr. Ruth.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, then Richard Simmons passed away on Saturday, which was a day after his 76th birthday. His rep says that he celebrated it the day before, and there is no word on the cause of death.
Oh, God, all my friends who are comics have just put up the picture of Pauly Shore saying, somebody check on Pauly.
Somebody check on Pauly Shore. Richard's brother Lenny said, quote, I don't want people to be sad about my brother. I want them to remember him for the genuine joy and love that he brought to people's lives. Simmons became a talk show staple thanks to his message of fitness, healthy eating, and positivity, along with his workout video, Sweatin' to the Oldies.
Do you want some audio here?
Yes.
So we're going to hear from Richard Simmons' workout video from the 80s, his appearance on David Letterman, his Chia Pet commercial. In 2016, calling in to the Today Show to let everybody know he was okay, because there were a lot of rumors in 2016 that Richard Simmons was being held against his will. So here you go.
Are you ready to tone? Well, let's warm up those muscles.
Get your chia in shape with Richard Simmons Chia Pet. Just spread the seeds, water, and watch it grow.
Take us through a typical day. You get up. What time does your day begin? What time do you start?
4:30 or 5.
Mm-hmm. And what do? Go to Tune Up Masters and get oiled up? I do care.
It's just let's make fun.
No, I'm
it's
sorry.
pin the tail on Dickie. That's what it is.
For all the people that are worrying about me, I want to tell them that I love them with my whole heart and soul. And that not to worry, Richard's fine. You haven't seen the last of me. I'll come back, and I'll come back strong.
So it seems like this for Pauly Shore was a real passion project for him to play Richard Simmons in a biopic. And I don't know. I think actually this probably clears the way for him to make that movie.
Yeah. I mean,
because he had been
everybody
kind of
knows-
rebuffed by the real Richard Simmons.
Yeah, Richard did not want him to make that biopic.
Maybe Pauly did it.
He must have seen Son-in-Law.
Well, then finally, Shannon Doherty lost her battle with cancer on Saturday. She was only 53 years old.
Tragic.
Shannon was first diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015, but went into remission 2 years later. But during a court battle with her insurance company in 2020, she revealed that she was dying of stage 4 breast cancer. Just over a year ago, she revealed that it had spread to her brain. A few weeks ago, she said she was hopeful about her upcoming chemo treatment.
I guess she really became a household name when Beverly Hills 90210 came on.
Yeah.
But she was in
Heathers
with
yeah.
Winona Ryder.
Ooh, I was reading some juicy gossip about her time on 902.
She had a reputation as 90210.
90210.
It's the zip code for Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Part of Rosemead.
It's a lot of numbers. But yeah,
Right.
she had a reputation for being like that, right?
She was
And there was
they
another girl.
labeled her like difficult.
Probably Tori Spelling.
No, apparently she
Tori
was
Spelling was the daughter.
She was the one in the
of
middle
Aaron's
all the time.
Yeah.
God, there was another girl on that show.
Anyway, do you want to hear a little bit
Yes.
from, I guess, David Letterman posted this clip.
Well, I have horses, so I ride my horses.
Right.
It's actually amazing that I was able to walk out here.
What kind do
well,
you
they're
have?
really big. They're Holsteiners and Hanoverians.
Oh, the Hanoverians are enormous, aren't they?
Enormous. And I hadn't ridden in a couple of months because I hadn't had time, and I went out and I rode 2 of my horses in a row, and by the time I got off, I couldn't walk, and it still feels like I have, this 1,800-pound animal, like, between my legs. And,
Well, I'll take your word for it.
yeah.
But is it because you hadn't ridden in a while?
It's
Is
because
that
I
what it is?
hadn't ridden in a while, so I'm a little sore. I'm going to stop.
That's your, these are your last stories, right? The trifecta of death.
And that's it for entertainment.
You look like you watched her on Charmed.
I love Charmed.
Yeah, you were a
She
Charmed
was
girl.
my favorite on Charmed. I don't think I'd watched the show after she died off the show.
Let's just kind of imagine, and I imagine there'll be a lot of people there. She's a very beloved celebrity. And I'm talking about Dr. Ruth Westheimer. So let's just imagine what her services might be like, okay?
Sex therapist, author, and talk show host Dr. Ruth Westheimer has died. As for her amazing career and legacy, we say, whoopee. She may have been short and unassuming, but she delivered a lot of bang for the buck. Oh my God. She brought so much joy into our hearts, and even more into our pants. And now Dr. Ruth is stiff, just like the millions of men who took her advice. And finally, Dr. Ruth got laid to rest. Reporting from the Dr. Ruth funeral, I'm Willie Getsum.
What did I miss?
Oh, I can't believe I missed it.
Did you miss the Buzz Adams Morning Show today?
I missed everything.
Just use the KLAQ mobile app. That way you can listen to Buzz on demand.